Check, check. Hello, check, check. Is everybody there? Man, so it always takes like a minute or so, but I had it sitting that it was live for like 6 minutes.
Hello, check,
oh
check.
fuck, hang on. And it never actually showed up. So I turned Streamlabs off. I ended the stream, turned Streamlabs off, waited a minute, turned it back on, tried it again. Another 2 or 3 minutes passed. Then I just fucking restarted my whole computer. So the mic's working right now. Okay. Wait, let me turn my camera on. Hold up, fellas. Hold up, fellas. Oh, hello. I saw someone in the comments say Bounty Hunter is replacing Knights of the Old Republic. It is, rest assured it is not. It's not replacing Knights of the Old Republic. This is a one-off. Let me turn off the stream music. And turn off stream starting soon. This is a one-off because the game just came out today. It's available for you to buy now. My review is out. If you haven't seen it already. Don't you love Streamlabs issues? Oh yeah, it's the best. Luckily, we got this one sorted out pretty quick. Yeah, so my review on this is out already. I actually got this. I got this game a little bit early. I got a press copy, and dude, let me tell you, I played through 5 of the 6 chapters, and then my computer reset, and I lost all my progress, and I had to play through the entire game. All right, I had to play through the entire fucking game again in 4 hours. In the middle, like, it was already morning by that point. My face isn't on screen. Oh, whoops. Turned off my video capture device. There I am. Hello, fellas. Bartek found the laughing cat, the new emote. So I did all of this so you guys can see the Boba Fett outfit, which is the only new real addition to this game, is the Boba Fett outfit. So you have to beat the game to play as Boba Fett. So I had to beat the fucking game. Oh, so yes, thank you for pointing out that my camera wasn't on. I'm about to turn my LED lights on as well. So you have to beat the game to play as Boba Fett. I really wanted to show you guys Boba Fett on the stream today, so I beat the game. So we're gonna play as Boba Fett instead of Jango Fett. If you can see Jango Fett easy. Let me turn on my LEDs. That stream not going live thing really threw me for a loop. Hold up. But we're so back. Staying up all night playing Bounty Hunter sounds like a party. You would think, but it wasn't. And I'll tell you why it wasn't. It wasn't a party because I had already just played the fucking game. I had already played through the entire game for like a solid day. You know, I was taking my time with it. I was hanging out with it. But then after that happened, I just had to speed run the entire thing in like 4 hours. So, Boba Fett. Where? What we're going to do is we're going to go straight to Tatooine, actually. Straight to Chapter 5. Don't get mad at me about spoilers. This is literally a live stream. Because I feel like that's a good place for Boba Fett. So we're going to go straight to Tatooine. Let's do it. I shall wait for fall sales. Yes, I'm a cheap bastard. That's fine. That's what sales are for. Boba Fett armor's looking tight. I mean, it actually looks loose, but it looks good. I wish they gave more in-depth system from gaining credit somehow. Still my main nitpick years later. Yeah, but this is just a remaster. They weren't trying... Oh, look, we can board the Slave 1. They weren't trying to change the game. They wanted it to be the same game. They just wanted you to be able to play it in the optimal way. And I think they achieved that. This game is 20 years old. How would it be a spoiler? Because a lot of people haven't played it. You got to remember, there's an entire generation. People who were born the year this game came out are old enough to drink now. Right? So they've never played it before. And the fact that it just came out means I want people to play it. So I don't want to do anything. Yeah, it would have been cool if Boba Fett had his cape, but I don't think they had the tech for cape physics in 2002, which is really 2001 when this game was being developed. But yeah, people who were born the year this game came out are old enough to drink, and so I don't want to spoil it or do anything that would de-incentivize someone who might buy and play the game from buying and playing the game, because this game is coming out and then Outlaws is coming out, and these re-releases are really our only chance as expanded. Oh yeah, there will be a cape mod now that it's on PC. There's gonna be all kinds of mods. But this games like re-releases like this are really our only chance as expanded universe fans to send the message that we want more EU stuff. He's wanted alive. He incited a riot in the crowds of a pod race by handing out exploding chubas, suspected by several other several other crimes. Including illegal distribution of contraband and communication tools. The Mos Eisley security force wants him. And the gameplay's way better now. A Max Payne Fett mod? Hell yeah. That's not Slave 1. It's Fire Spray 1-1. I saw some gameplay for Star Wars Outlaws. That should have a more in-depth bounty hunting system. I don't know if they has it's got to have a bounty system, but I haven't seen much gameplay. I'm not super interested. Maybe I'll play it. Still love playing this game. I beat it like 20 times since it came out now. Part of my headcanon for Jango Fett. This is canon. This is expanded universe canon. It's not headcanon. This happened in the EU. I know what you're talking about. Maybe not Disney. Okay, now what? He's a terrorist? Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we got them all. Should I turn the volume on the game up, guys? Just let me know. The greatest bounty hunter in the world, Spider-Man. Oh yeah, dude, we're gonna see mods like crazy for this game, and I am going to be here for it. Let me know if I need to turn up the game volume, because I can't hear it all that well, but I can just turn it up on my headphones. And Boba Fett looks great, by the way. Look, they even got the little Mandalorian symbol on his arm. This was not in the original game. This is really the only new major addition to the remaster. Is this Boba Fett outfit? So that's what I'm trying to show off. Look at this dewback. Can I not? Oh, I wish I wanted to stand on it. That'd have been sick. If you have a controller, you can quick swap items with D-pad. Oh yeah, I've been doing that. I'm just trying to show off the. Apparently, that menu option was in the original game, and I didn't know that. I played through the entire thing originally, and I didn't know this was a thing. Dewback. Yeah, I know you can quick swap. Let's sniper rifle some people. Actually, let me make sure none of these people have bounties. Alright, no bounties posted. Man, I'm a bad aim. This is one of the hardest missions in the game, believe it or not. This one and oh shit. And one other one are brutal. I wonder if there are mountain dewbacks. I can't fathom that there wouldn't be. There's absolutely some dewbacks that live on mountains, so they're already a greenish hue, so mountain dewbacks. There's definitely mountains on Tatooine. Even I remember that it never had the Boba Fett skin back then. Oh yeah, I'm glad. Like, seeing Boba Fett on Mos Eisley like this just feels right, you know. You playing Bounty Hunter with that quick swap is like me forgetting the button analog switch in between in DMC1. No, I knew it had quick swap. I didn't know it had this. The original Bounty Hunter had this apparently, and I didn't know it. So I look silly in my review because I'm like, oh, and they added a menu because it wasn't because I didn't know I didn't know this was in the original, but apparently it was. I only used quick swap in when I played the first time, and it wasn't super intuitive. I should have checked those guys for bounties. I don't know what I'm doing. You're telling me this doesn't feel right? Look at this. Look at how this looks. Oh, shit. Line them up. Fuck it. Let's throw some hands. Oh, look, I joined. He's playing on his favorite planet. It's absolutely. I figured I would start with it and get it out of the way. You beat the game. No more need for live bounties. But they're no good to me dead. All you need is kill and platform. Yeah, let's see what Star Wars Outlaws has on. No lengthy vehicle section traveling here. Just good old-fashioned, whatever, the barrel rolling. Oh! I'm dead. I'm dead for sure. This kind of reminds me of Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath. Never played the Oddworld games. Sweet Home Tatooine. I can't escape it. Kylo Nord could take down both Jango and Boba Fett. That is facts. False. False. That's cap. Know how much you love Tatooine? I can't get enough of it. Let's we'll save the Camino and saber darts for later. This game probably has better movement than Star Wars Outlaws. I don't know. I've never played Outlaws. I'm just ragging on it because it's funny. Poor G-Man lives there, right? I doubt he's got a bounty because I can't get to him up there. It's not an OG Star Wars shooter without combat rolls. Facts. Oh, he's wanted dead or alive. Same price either or. Let's see. Owes his greatness Jabba the Hutt for a generous 60% loan. Dead or alive, people. Alright, we're doing a poll. Hang on. What's this thing's name? Clem Trigger. Okay, we're gonna do a poll. We're doing a poll. Clem Trigger. Dead or alive? Vote. Am I bringing in Clem Trigger dead, or am I bringing him in alive? Oh, we got Kylo Nord. 1. 2. Burned by fire. Okay. 100% to dead so far. Hang on. Some people are favoring the longevity of Clem Trigger. Some people want him brought in alive. The dead's going down. What's it gonna be? Looks like most people want him dead. Death by fire is the popular one. Anyone else? All right, looks like dead and death by fire. Bloodthirsty. If you kill him, he can't snitch on you for not freeing the slave. Well, that I'm a bounty hunter. All right, hang on. I'm gonna get myself killed doing this, but oh, I don't have my flamethrower. What the fuck? Well, we'll have to make use. I think that may have killed him. We'll figure it out. I gotta take care of this guy. Oh, I don't have any bullets. I'm like, why isn't this thing firing? No idea what we're talking about. Just saw the name tag. Oh, yeah, that's his name. It's tiring saying the prequels are good movies, but getting fumbled by people. Dude, I love the prequels. If you like the prequels and you want to talk about how good the prequels are, you found the right channel. Because I'm very much so a prequel guy. I got into some people didn't like my take when I said I didn't appreciate red letter media because they gaslit people into thinking the prequels were bad. Which, by the way, red letter media says all the time they don't like Star Wars. So, like, who the fuck cares what they think? That'd be like somebody asking me, hey man, what do you think of Star Trek? I'm like, okay, so I watched Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and I just think it's really silly. Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan has these problems, and it's silly here. And somebody's like, oh, but you like the other Star Trek? Oh no, I'm not. Star Trek's not my thing. I don't like Star Trek at all. Then motherfucker, why do we care what you think about Wrath of Khan? I just killed Clem Trigger, by the way, so I'm gonna go collect the bounty on his head. Gotta figure out what to do about that. I'm not against this remaster at all. I love this game through and through, but besides the glowing laser blast, that my game almost looks identical in emulators at 5 or 6 upscale. Don't know if it's worth it for me personally. I say this game is worth getting it on Shale. I think yeah, Sale. It's only worth it because it's if you're trying to send a message. Message being the expanded universe is cool and we want more Star Wars content. If Bounty Hunter, if these remasters keep happening because they keep doing well. And really, Night Dive's Dark Forces remaster has been the only quality one. Like, even this one is okay, but it's functional, and that's really all it needs to be. But it's certainly not. It's not great, you know. It's not doing anything that's incredible. It's just functional. He had it coming. Oh yeah, Star Wars was better in Phantom Menace when it was a political drama. Yeah, the best parts about the Phantom Menace are the non-political parts, but I think Star Wars was better when it was more optimistic. You know, I like my edgy nihilism stuff sometimes when it's appropriate, but Star Wars should be a place for optimistic films, and I don't think that I don't think the sequels are optimistic because they're clearly very jaded. I mean, hell, Force Awakens is just a worse remake of A New Hope. But I think the Phantom Menace's greatest strength is that it's very wholesome. It's very optimistic. And also, you have to let people die. Death isn't a bad thing. It's it adds meaning. The fact that Qui-Gon Jinn dies at the end of that movie is meaningful because of how good of a character he is. Modern Star Wars just refuses to do that. Boba Fett skin. Have it on my wish list right now. I'm content playing it on my Bounty Hunter Portable as God tier. Okay. Fan-made Jedi Knight remaster is fire, though. Oh, yeah. I've actually talked to General Tantor, who's the guy who handled the Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2 and the Mysteries of the Sith remaster. He's still working on them sometimes. Really cool guy. He's got his own YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out. But, yes, those are super good. I'd still like to see it in an official capacity just for culture preservation reasons. I got it dirt cheap from using Microsoft Rewards, so I got it for like $10.99. That's what's up. Still can't believe Chancellor Sheev Palpatine is Emperor Palpatine. I didn't see it coming. I don't know how we could have. I don't know how we could have seen it coming. Better game at least when George was around. Well, I mean, he was the mastermind, but not everything he did was gold. I'd like a remaster of Battle for Naboo. Love that metallic blue police ship. Yeah, I think Battle for Naboo could use a remaster. I think, I've seen a lot of people wanting a Rogue Squadron trilogy remaster. I think Battle for Naboo should go in there. Because, I mean, it's the same developer. It's Factor 5. Battle for Naboo is basically a Rogue Squadron spin. I'm not really paying that much attention, by the way, so don't at me about my poor performance. I speed ran this game in 4 hours last night, which is way less than the world record, but whatever. I'd like to see a Rogue Squadron trilogy remaster that includes Battle for Naboo, and those games aren't huge, you know. You wouldn't have to do much. Aspire could probably handle it. Totally agree. Star Wars doesn't have creative freedom because it's not from George. Go look at making of. He was so meticulous and cared about the details. It was his story Disney can't create new. What's that old Tolkien quote that people hate when you bring up about evil can't create new, it can only destroy good or something? Rogue Squadron and Battle for Naboo remaster would be epic. I agree. Welcome, Zach. Hey, Evan. Love the vids. Any thoughts on fan restorations of the original trilogy, Harmy, and 4K 77?
77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77. 77.
I don't know what that last part. I don't know what Harmy 4K77 is. But as for fan restorations of the original trilogy, I don't have any problem with it. Okay, typically, here's my stance on it. If you have fans that care enough to dump hours of free labor into something you made, something is right. You've done something right. You know? That is free labor and passion just because you love something that is something, if I were a businessman, I would be incredibly hesitant to push back against, if that makes sense. So, I personally, I grew up with the special editions, so watching and this is, people fucking hate it when I say this, but watching the despecialized versions is kind of weird, because like you don't realize actually how much was added to the special editions until you've seen the despecialized. Like, most people are like, oh yeah, the Mos Eisley scene is like stuffed full of a bunch of CGI creatures and it's weird and it's out of place. That's true, but there's a lot of stuff in the special editions that people just take for granted were always there, and they weren't. Particularly with Cloud City, there are some exceptional shots of Cloud City in the special edition that make the movie better. So personally, I think it's either or. I don't think that you're better for watching the despecialized or the originals, because I think there's pros and cons to both. But that being said, pretty much anything fans do is probably pretty good, with some exceptions. Trying to play this and read is hard. I would suck out of the chi. Come on. I don't think George Lucas at this point gaining control of Star Wars again would be a good thing. He already sold it. You know, he made his choice. I think the reins need to be handed over to someone like Sam Witwer. That's what I think needs to happen. We don't need George back, but we need someone else who cares about the series to be in charge. I think Sam Witwer is an obvious choice. Getting all of the gold medals in Rogue Squadron was one of my greatest achievements, and it's a fun time, too. Really wish we could have gotten that Darth Maul game. I think everyone does, dude. I think everyone really wishes that. I'm just saying George was perfect, but at least I think you mean wasn't perfect. At least he didn't have EA make Casino Front 1 and 2. It's a different time. Battlefront 2 is actually, the EA Battlefront 2 is pretty beloved now. Evil cannot create a can only story, yeah. Harmy's despecialized, or the other project called 4K77. Okay, that's what those are. Those are the fan stuff. Yeah, I gave my thoughts on that. After the Dark Forces remaster, I want to see a Jedi Knight Mysteries of the Sith remaster as well. There are some great upscaling mods, but a full remaster, would still be awesome. I want that too. I want Night Dive to tackle the Mysteries of the Sith and Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. But I want that for cultural reasons. I actually think that Tantor's mod is going to end up being better quality, even if we get that. But I think a lot more people would play it if it got an official remaster, and that is why I want it. But I don't think that they would make better remaster mods than the fan one. That's my take on that. I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong. Honestly, fuck it. I think Night Dive should hire General Tantor and utilize a lot of his work. Like, he's already done most of your fucking work. Just hire him on, pull as much as you legally can from what's already been done, and add it. It's really fucking... It's right there. That's what Night Dive should fucking do. Alright, let me read some of these comments. I'm falling behind. I'm just saying... Fuck, hang on. I'm gonna read your comments, fellas. I'm falling behind because I'm trying not to die. EU is better, but not because of George Lucas. Correct. Empire is the one that gains the most from the edits for sure. I would agree with that, yeah. I'm just saying some wild and out there shit for Evan to read off aloud. It's why I love having you in the streams. Hey, Evan, the first time on one of your streams, you are aware that the Mysteries of the Sith Remastered got a much-needed update after your video released. It got the treatment Jedi Knight had with the improved cutscenes. I am aware. I've actually had conversations with General Tantor since then, and I've seen the work he's done, and I've thought many times about maybe doing an update video. I just don't have the time at this moment. But I've seen what he's done. I think I made a community post about it even a month or two back. I think I made a post about it. Like, hey, Mysteries of Sith got an update. Cutscenes are looking great. But yeah, he's doing some great work. Tatooine again. Hell yeah, Tatooine again. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a Calo and Nord mod sometime. It would be very easy. If you could extract the assets from KOTOR, it'd be very easy to do. But this game is fucking merciless. EA Battlefront 1 and 2 left a bad impression on me. They did on most people, but I have seen that they've made it better. We always on Tatooine. We never leave Tatooine. I live on Tatooine. The House of Mouse is making Star Wars great again. Sure. Absolutely. I just started playing Battlefront 2 2017, and wow, man, I'm blown away with the mod support and coming Kyber V2 servers with proximity voice chat and tons more stuff. The community keeps Star Wars alive. The community keeps Star Wars alive in spite of the people who are fucking handling it. I'll tell you that. Battlefront 2 does not deserve the fan treatment it's getting. Like, it's a well-made game, but the way they fucking, the disgraceful way they tried to hand that game out to people, they do not deserve the fan treatment. But that said, I feel like the players deserve the fan treatment that it's getting, if that makes sense. The game, the company doesn't deserve the support it's getting, but the players deserve the support it's getting. Not gonna lie, I love the Tatooine levels in the game. In this game, they look good, and I love feeding that Gardula bastard to a crate dragon. Hell yeah. Great scene. Hand Star Wars to me, I promise not to shave in Hooters and Blackjack. Oh, I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. Think Star Wars Outlaws will be a decent game. Probably not the best Star Wars game ever, but still okay. Let's see what his lightsaber can do. Also, Ubisoft games go on sale fast. It probably will be. I can't imagine it's going to be bad. Traffic was a pisser, but I finally made it home. How's the game so far? Well, I've already beaten it, basically twice, but this is me hanging out and playing it for you guys. It's good. It's great, actually. I recommend it. 100% at this point, the remaster of the actual Jedi Knight game is basically done. Night Dive would just need to upscale the cutscenes. Without AI, I hope, if that's possible. Because the current upscaled cutscenes are AI, but for fan mod, I think that's acceptable. Time me up, Django Daddy. Well, this is Boba, so Django's not here. Most Star Wars games always have Tatooine level except KOTOR 2, the Sith Lords, which is why it's better. Even without updated cutscenes, Mysteries of Sith mod was very much playable. The atmosphere on Drummond Cost was freaking palpable. Great fucking level. Great level. But in terms only in atmosphere. Awful design. Awful level design. Evan, do you hate sand? I don't like sand. It's rough and coarse and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Well made. The story mode of EA Battlefront 2 sucked. I meant, like, mechanically. Like, the foundation was there for the fans to take it away. The Jedi games by Respawn have been great, but the novel tie-ins was atrocious. I haven't read the novel tie-in, and I haven't played the second one, but Jedi Fallen Order was admittedly pretty good. I'm sure Night Dive would hire the remastered guys. They bought the System Shock guys. Hell, Kaiser, creator of the Kex engine, got started doing port to PC mods like Doom 64. I wish they would reach out to General Tantor. He really deserves it. Friendly reminder to everyone to subscribe and set your options to allow YouTube to allow gifts. This way you have a chance to receive free channel membership. The option is off by default. Yes, Wolfie frequently hands out free memberships because he's a G. If you want a free membership to the channel, definitely turn that on. KOTOR 2 not having Tatooine level is why it's the GOAT of Star Wars games. Say it again. Here. Spoiler for Outlaws, there will be a section with levels on Tatooine. Yeah, they've shown that off. I don't know. There's like some kind of like weird ancient Star Wars entity that has to be fed levels set on Tatooine, or it will return and it will swallow up the owners of the IP, which is why Lucas really signed it away. It's because of Tatooine. That's how I got my first membership. Bless up. That's spoilers from the trailers. Has anyone had any playtime with Outlaws? Most of the reviews I've seen on it are met at best. Trying to figure out if it's worth buying or if it's better to wait for it to come to Game Pass. Okay, Hurt McDirt. Let me ask you. Do you like Far Cry and do you like Assassin's Creed? If the answer is yes, probably worth buying Outlaws. If the answer is not really, wait. Don't buy it. It's going to be Assassin's Creed. It's going to be Far Cry. It's the same thing. It's that with a Star Wars skin and a weirdly, for some reason, purposefully misrepresentation of the actress who modeled the character. I don't know why they did that. I don't work for Ubisoft. It's an odd decision. That's absolute haram. I'll be buying Outlaws on a massive discount. By the way, Evan, have you played many Jedi Knight Dark Forces Jedi Academy mods? Yeah, I played a few. Not many, but I've played a few. I talked about some in the Jedi Academy video, and then obviously I showed off mods in every one of those videos, by the way. I did. Some people didn't like that. I had a few comments saying, this is a retrospective. You should do the vanilla. You should just do the vanilla stuff. But the fact is, the modding community is part of the fucking game. Like, the game is not absent of the modding community. They are. It's a synchronous. It's a synchronicity, symbiotic relationship. The modding community is part of the fucking game. I can't really talk about those games without addressing the mod community. It wasn't just to make them look good. It's because I wanted to expose the mods to people to be like, oh, I didn't really know if I wanted to play Dark Forces 2, but seeing how good this mod looks, I have to try it out. That was the point. That's why I do it. To shed light on the modding community, because these are passionate people, they're working for free, and they deserve exposure. Jedi Fallen Order would be cool if it didn't feel like beating up stormtroopers with a foam bat. Dismemberment should have been implemented thing, at the very least an option to disable or enable. Hard agree. I heard they did that in Survivor, but I haven't played it. What are your thoughts on Jedi Outcast? It's one of my favorite Star Wars games. That's one of the ones I had never played until I did it for the retrospective. If you want my full thoughts on it, you can check out my video. It's both included in my full Jedi Knight series retrospective, and it's its own video that you can watch if you just want to hear about Jedi Outcast. But my thoughts are basically the game rocks. It's awesome. It's classic. I can't believe it took me so long to play it. Republic Commando doesn't have a Tatooine level. It's also known as one of the GOATs. Any plans to cover the Old Republic? Yes, but not soon. I'm working on a Knights of the Old Republic retrospective that is going to take years. Well, not years, but it's not going to be out till mid next year. It's going to be like multiple hours. So I got to do KOTOR 1 and 2, and then I'll do the Old Republic. Real quick, going to go back to the other comments in a second. Shout out to Bartek for the $10 Polish currency. It's supposed to speak. It didn't speak. Maybe it will in a minute. That's fine. Okay, it also didn't speak. Shout out to Bartek for the 10 Polish dollars. I don't know what your currency is called. Thank you so much. Shout out to Wolfie for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. We got some winners in the chat. I love that. Thank you so much. Seriously. May the force be with both of you and all of that. You guys are always coming in clutch. No doubt. Get that off the screen.
Poland strong.
Jedi Outcast didn't have a level on Tatooine. That's why it's slightly better than Jedi Academy. Fair take. Yes to Far Cry, Assassin's Creed in small doses. Okay, well then you'll probably like Outlaws. If you want to play a Ubisoft game with Star Wars skin, yeah. What happens with Outlaws actress game model? I've seen a bunch of pictures of the model that the actress that they hired to represent the character, and then the in-game model. And it's like weirdly, like they changed her face a bunch for some reason, and I don't know why. Like the shape of her nose has been altered, her eyes have been altered. There's all kinds of culture war reasons about like not wanting attractive women in games. I don't know if that's not my thing, but objectively speaking, they look different, and I don't understand the decision. Maybe they wanted to make Kay Vess her own original character. I don't know. It was weird. I would rather, personally, I think it would be better if the actor or the actress hired on for a job is represented accurately in the game, because that's better for their portfolio. But I understand that if the creative decision is to try to make the character her own like design, that doesn't necessarily just reflect a real world actor. I get that. I don't know if that was the intention, but I think it's better for the actor or actress who is doing the work if it looks like them. That's my take. KOTOR 2 already has its own version of Tatooine, and that's Paragus 2. That is not as bad as Tatooine. I don't care what anyone says. They did make the model ugly when the face model doesn't look that bad. Ugly, subjective, but definitely different. I've been following the Jedi Knight mod community since day one. I still remember the birth of Mercenary Tales and Mercenary Levels and the Yona Zack levels, so many of them. Modding community is part of the game. Can't talk about one without the other, in my opinion. I mean, you can. People do it all the time, but I actually kind of like Paragus too. I do as well. Paragus is a classic. I'm banning you for that opinion. A birder in chat. I collect coins and don't think I have any from Poland, surprisingly. I don't know what that's even called. On the comment about altering the main character actor, I think that was a poor idea. I would like if Disney would incorporate some of the video game characters into the wider universe. Would be very easy to do. I agree with that. With Cal from the Jedi series, he looks exactly like his real world actor, so I don't understand why they did that. Remember what they did to the manly Jaw Watson Spider-Man game? They're definitely following a trend of making female characters look butch and manly. Most people don't like it. It's that is a signing motive when, you know, I don't know. I haven't seen that they've outwardly admitted that. That is assuming motive. It might seem accurate. Probably is the case. I don't know. I'm trying not to approach these things from this fucking culture war standpoint, because it's the people who it's like some kind of weird like poison water, and people who start doing that like lose their brains. But objectively speaking, it's worse for the actor. It's worse for the actress. It's better if it looks like them. That's an objective take. Feel like Cal Kestis can show up on a live action show any year now since the actor is prolific too. I can't believe they haven't done that. It's set in the same fucking time period too, right? Survivor takes place. Does Survivor take place after Return of the Jedi? I thought it did. I haven't played it. Friend from Belgium came to the States to visit, and I immediately stole his pocket change so I could have some of the coins. That's fair. I mean, I'm sure he didn't mind. Was the actress supposed to be face scanned? Like, was she just doing mocap and voice lines? Dante and Devil May Cry 5 had Ruben do a voice and mocap, but they face scanned a different dude. Yeah, that Capcom does all kinds of different stuff, but the face scan they use still represents the actor. Like the guy who they face scan for Dante looks exactly like him, just with different hair. Ubisoft purposely uglified the main character in Outlaws. God forbid the audience find a female character aesthetically pleasing. That's describing motive. Probably is true, but we don't know. Y'all don't need to have attractive player models, just a nicely shaped ass. Well, I don't think that's really the issue with a lot of people, but I don't know. All I'm saying is it's a trending pattern that can be observed. That is also true. It certainly is. Cal looks like his actor. Great, yes. From what I've heard, the MJ actress was in an accident and her jaw had to be realigned and all that. And I'm tired of people claiming they're self-inserts when it's usually debunked. That also, I think I did hear that. It's hard to say. That's the thing with the culture war stuff. Just because something can't, when you're noticing a pattern, it's easy to be like, okay, I can see what this is, but that doesn't always mean that is what it is. It might be, but that's why I'm not saying that it is that. Bro, they won't admit it, man. We all know they did that same crap for the Horizon Zero Dawn. I haven't even played those games, so I don't know. The games with Cameron I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Monahan, take place during the Jedi Purge, I believe. No, definitely after the Jedi Purge. I mean, yeah, I guess in the tail end of the Jedi Purge, rather. Wait, is she wanted dead or alive? I think she's wanted alive. Okay, she's wanted alive, but they'll take her dead. She might die. That person who did small writing, why would they base it off her? Again, it's the internet. People can say whatever they want, anytime they want, about anything they want. I don't really care, but it's important to remember that because of that, people often do say whatever they want. And people, the thing is, when it comes to the internet, people like to make extreme claims because it gets more interaction. Nobody is going to enter, and I don't like the bad faith argument of people just trying to get clickbaiting. That is true to a degree, by the way, though. But people want discussion, and if you look at reward, what is rewarded, somebody making a very reasonable take about something, everyone's going to ignore it. You're only going to get interaction and conversation on the internet if you say the most outrageous, wild, extreme take of something. So you have to keep that in mind when it comes to internet dialogue. Polish currency is called zloty, which means golden. That's fun. I like that. I like having a new face and ass if I'm playing a third-person game as a chick. I'm simple, man. The only reason I tolerate the RE3 remake. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm not a gooner. I have my girlfriend, and that's the only woman I have eyes for. So I tend to really care more about what something represents, like abstractly, than I do about something like that. I'm not saying, you know, whatever. If that's what makes you buy the game and you like the game, that's as old as time. That's almost as old as time itself. She was the lead in all this common information. Now you can go and see it in interviews. They changed it to look more like her as a self-insert, self-proclaimed feminist as well. Make of that what you will. I don't know anything about that. I didn't even play Spider-Man 2. I don't have a PS5. Corn Horn was Michael Stackpole's self-insert in the X-Wing books, and he's still a cool character. Self-inserting isn't always bad. In fact, most characters are self-inserts, to a degree. Self-inserting and making your character flawless and breaking, really it comes down to breaking suspension of disbelief. That's the number one crime of modern writing. Breaking suspension of disbelief. When you've done that, you've ruined it. Fallen Order takes place between Return of the Jedi and A New Hope for sure. I think Survivor does too, but I don't remember. Okay. Well, then he's not going to be showing up anytime soon in the post Return of the Jedi series. I didn't hear the news about the face model getting into a car accident either. Fast shooty Star Wars game looks fun. Are you happy with this remaster so far? Good question. Yeah. So I've now played through it all of the way once, and then 5 of the 6 chapters one time. So far I think it's great. It's literally just the same game. It's the same game, upscaled, optimized, and with a Boba Fett skin. You're not getting anything new. Might not even be worth $20 depending on what you're looking for, but it is good. You know, I'll say that. I think they nailed what they were trying to do. If you let's not argue about a fucking face model in the comments about on a bounty hunter video. Survivor takes place a few years after Fallen Order. Okay. I knew that. I just didn't know if it was after Return of the Jedi or not. Did you go to college for something literature related? Yes, I have a bachelor's degree in English with a focus on literature. Why do you ask? That's such a specific question. Yeah, I had 4 years of creative writing classes, multiple years. Most of my classes were English, history, creative writing. It was all that. So yeah. Calling this a culture war. You're calling him a culture war channel? Who? Me? I'm not. I missed some comments because I'm playing this game. I'm definitely not. All right, guys. Let's not talk about this fucking face model stuff anymore. This is silly. Yeah, Robert. People get reactive. Well, that's the whole point. That's why people like it, because the reaction makes intense conversation, and people like the build up and the release of tension throughout conversations like that. Sometimes that's valuable, but the whole thing about the culture war stuff is that there's nothing. You can't prove anything. You can observe patterns and make educated guesses, and so there's no point. Have you ever read Winnetou by Carl May? Dude took self-insert on another level. Never even heard of it. That's just the way. I don't think he's heard. It's just the way it's just the way conversations go like that. What was your favorite level from Jedi Academy and Mysteries of the Sith? Good question. Jedi Academy. I always really liked the Corellian train level. It's on the first thing, and then I liked the Jedi Tomb level. Those are my favorite from Jedi Academy. The Mysteries of the Sith. I thought the mission with Mara Jade and the guy who steals art was pretty fun. You can't. Well, yeah. If you don't like Souls-likes, you're not gonna love the Jedi Fallen Order. Come on, Patriot. Seriously, I'm gonna time out. I'm gonna have Wolfie time both of you out. Yeah, Wolfie, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna have. I mean, I appreciate your enthusiasm. I think that it's good to care about things, but this is just not the fucking stream for this. You can ask, you can ask somebody's opinions if you want, but I'm not a debate channel. Your commentary is very informed. I teach middle high school ELA. Okay, well, I appreciate that. I'll take the compliment. Thank you so much. Man playing video games debating whether or not a video game character is fuckable. Well, that's not wasn't what they were debating, but I understand. Even though I would have preferred a better looking character in Outlaws, above all, I just want a well written story. And it's definitely, just listen to iJedi audiobook. That was one of the first Star Wars books I read a long time ago as a kid. It's been a really long time since I've read it. I need to read it again because I actually forgot that book brings up cortosis, and cortosis does short out lightsabers in the expanded universe, which is something I had forgotten. So I look silly saying that it didn't do that in my Star Wars Game Boy Advance video. But it does, apparently, and that's the book that did it. I need to go back and rewatch that. When it comes to conversations like that, I don't like to put people down for having them. I think it's good to be passionate. And it doesn't really hurt anybody to talk about, things like that. But it doesn't help anybody either. And it tends to turn people off of wanting to be around a stream. And the whole point of my streams is I try to keep it fun, positive, uplifting, and just a fun place for people to hang out and talk about stuff. If you want to talk about things in a respectful manner, that's great. But otherwise, I'll have, Wolfie will time your ass out. It's better for the long run. I'm back. What I missed? Why two dudes get timed out? They were arguing about something about some culture war stuff about the fuckability. It wasn't fuckability. That's a misnomer. That's not fair on anybody. Nobody cares about how fuckable a game character is. But there is certainly a culture war going on about, physical attractiveness. Not something I care about or want to get involved in. Who's your favorite EU novel character? For me, it's Thrawn, hands down. Thrawn is a great pick. Hard to write character. I can see why so many people struggle with him. I think Mara is definitely up there, but I think I'm going to be a cop-out and say probably Kyle. Kyle's a great pick. Remember that Gaelic Fire wanted to rule the galaxy with a Cortosis fist? Was that fist actually, I think that might have actually been Cortosis' suit. What was your favorite GBA Star Wars game and your least favorite? I enjoyed them all as a kid except for Flight of the Falcon. Flight of the Falcon is fucking awful. It's my least favorite. The new Droid Army was my favorite just because it was the only one that had like an original story, I really appreciated that it was an addition rather than an adaptation. Yeah, culture war arguments are fine. That's why Twitter exists. I don't know if my channel isn't Twitter. I'm not even reading that Spooge Festival. It's not happening. The armor looks great. Well designed. Going to say Tarkin, the Tarkin novel. Not one of the ones I've read. Tarkin was a funny character, though. I haven't read the novel where he does it, but there is one where he straight up lands a shuttle on somebody, which is really funny. I don't remember which one that is. Shadow Troopers wore Cortosis armor in JK2. You see, I think that's why I didn't know Cortosis would short out lightsabers, is because the games didn't portray it that way. But I mean, also, a lot of people don't like iJedi, so a lot of people may just not have remembered that it supposedly shorted out lightsabers there. Hard to say for sure why, but iJedi was decent. Cornhorn was a fun character, but definitely very self-inserty. Here, Red Harvest, Death Troopers back in Quasi back in canon. Zombie Troopers are back. I think that's just them doing the stuff in Ahsoka with the Zombie Troopers. Flight of the Falcon was an OG Flash game I played way back then on PC. It's certainly the quality of a Flash game. Actually, I think I've played Flash games with better quality than Flight of the Falcon. Okay, I took a wrong turn. I think I need to go this way. Only pure Cortosis does that, I think. Alloys don't. Maybe that's what it is. It was Cortosis alloys in the games. I haven't... It's been a while since I've read a lot of the older EU Star Wars books, because when when I was a kid, I read a lot of the ones set post Return of the Jedi. And now the only ones I've really been interested in are the Clone Wars related ones. They should make a survival horror game based on the Death Troopers. That would be epic. Resident Evil meets Jedi Knight. There's a fan-made game doing that right now, actually. I forget what it's called, but there is actually a fan. I don't know how many people are involved in the team. I think it's like one guy, maybe more. But there is a fan-made game made in Unreal where it's Death Troopers. And also, if you have a Spotify membership, last time I checked, the entire Death Troopers audiobook is on Spotify if you have a membership. So if you pay for Spotify and you're wanting Death Troopers, I'm pretty sure the audiobook is just sitting there. The more you know. You just settle for Kathleen getting the boot. Won't matter. Won't be good enough. It's Kathleen Kennedy getting the boot won't fix anything. There are people who need whoever. It's not just Kathleen either. Like there's a lot of people who would need to change. What we need someone involved in Star Wars that isn't interested in culture war stuff. That's what we need. Do you think the KOTOR remake and Eclipse will ever release? Also, how do you feel about canceled Respawn Bounty Hunter game? My heart shatters for the team that worked on Star Wars Ragtag, which is the canceled Respawn Bounty Hunter game. Just what we saw of it looked great. It had a very experienced team working on it. And it wasn't Respawn, it was Visceral. By the way, Visceral Games, Star Wars Ragtag. It wasn't Respawn. Unless that's something different, I don't know what it is. But Visceral Games was working on a Star Wars game. I'm a huge Visceral Games fan. They had, I think her name was Amy Hennig. I forget what her name was. But they had one of the writers from Uncharted. Brilliant writer. And she had great plans for it. That was a fucking shame that game got canceled. As for Star Wars, I don't think KOTOR will ever see the light of day. I think the KOTOR remake is dead. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think that some studio executives got excited about the idea, and then when they realized that it was going to take 6 years to develop, they went, "Ooh, yeah, no, we're not funding that." And they've been handing it off to B teams that are promising more than they can deliver on, and it's going to die. Eclipse, I'm super excited for. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I'm a big fan of Quantic Dream games. And I think that Star Wars is the optimal setting for a Quantic Dream game. Are you kidding? A game all about choices is the perfect game for like light side, dark side, Jedi shenanigans. Quantic Dream, David Cage is gonna David Cage the hell out of the Star Wars game, and it's probably gonna be the campiest, most obnoxiously over the top nonsense. And I cannot wait for it. I'm so excited for Star Wars Eclipse. Do you think okay, I read that. Let's not disparage Flash games by comparing them to that game. Yeah, Flight of the Falcon was a mess. George is the only one who's giving me the political drama I come to Star Wars for. I don't care about the action. Yeah, you want to hear more about trade route taxation. Vibro swords also have cortosis alloy core. See, I knew about that. Found that fan game. Oh yeah, I think it looks cool. Can we get a Mickey Mouse or Kathleen Kennedy emote for chat one day? Maybe. Mickey Mouse sounds funny. I don't know about. I don't think you'd even be able to tell what Kathleen Kennedy was if I stuck her face in there. Personally, I just want more forced biology lessons. I want to know more about midichlorians. You're one of few. Most people hate that shit. I like the midichlorian stuff, but most people hate it. Amy Hennig is a goat. Naughty Dog is sucked without her. I agree. One of the better writers from Uncharted was heading up a Star Wars game written by a fucking woman, right? Isn't that the whole thing? Isn't that the whole fucking thing? The Force is female, more female representation. You had a Star Wars game being written by a woman, and you canceled it. I don't want to hear fucking anything anymore. Everybody was excited about this Star Wars game being headed by a woman. I don't want to hear shit. All right? I was hype. They canceled it. That's on them. I was so excited for that game. I don't think Eclipse will ever come out. Oh, I think it will. I think it's probably deep into production right now. I think it'll come out. David Cage, say what you will about him, he is monomaniacal. Which monomaniacal means like focused on a single, like obsessively focused on a single thing. If that dude can do anything, it's get out a fucking game. All right, I think that game will come out. I do. Truthfully, I wanted a more political action, a little more political action, like Anakin was a slave coming to a system that hadn't abolished slavery in a galaxy. Why wasn't that explored more? I agree. That really was some missed opportunity stuff. We could have really seen some Ryloth slave freeing stuff. Also, imagine how much that probably like plagued him as Vader. You know how much the Empire messed with like slave trading? You know, they really could have messed with that with Vader's subconscious. I'm not sure if Dave Filoni leading things to a capacity will help or not. I don't know if he had any say in the recent stuff like Acolyte. No, I've said this before. Dave Filoni is competent, but he's not enough to save Star Wars, or rather, Star Wars doesn't need saving. It needs repairing and reuniting is what it needs. It doesn't need saving. It's fine. It's profitable. It's making money, but it's going to kill itself if it doesn't repair and reunite, and that's only going to happen when it stops doing what it's doing. Really sad for KOTOR, but I think Respawn was also working on an FPS Bounty Hunter game. Okay, I haven't heard about the Respawn Bounty Hunter game. I need to look that up. Either Quantic Dream or the guys behind Until Dawn. Until Dawn... Okay, so here's the thing about the team from Until Dawn. They've released like 5 other games since then, and they're still known as the team behind Until Dawn. Because they haven't made a good game since. I don't think they can handle it. I wouldn't give Star Wars to them if I owned it. Indigo Prophecy, called Fahrenheit in Europe, was a fascinating game for Quantic Dream. That game was fucking ridiculous, but it was so fun. I'll never forgive Disney for canceling Star Wars 1313 when they acquired the IP. That game looked fucking awesome. I agree. Huge misstep. Bad decision. Canceling Star Wars Ragtag, arguably worse. Arguably a worse decision. Don't understand why they did that. What I missed, Evan? Why are you upset? I was just thinking about Star Wars Ragtag by Visceral Games. Flash games, better forget. Yeah, Flash games. Flash games were really good back in the day. 2035 will be an AI-led remake of A New Hope, complete with AI-generated scenery and characters. Probably not. I think we'll have regulation on AI by then. It's not enough that it's a woman. It has to be a right or left more like woman. I don't know about that. I don't... Probably so, but... The fact is, there was a Star Wars game being developed that everybody was excited about, being written by a woman, and they canceled it. So... I don't know, maybe they're sexist. Maybe they didn't want it because it was written by a woman. Another female-helmed project canceled was Rogue Squadron. After they put it on ice, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman sequel was received poorly. That's still happening, though, isn't it? I think it just got turned into a series. I thought that's what would happen. I thought Patty Jenkins was still doing Rogue Squadron. It was just going to be a series instead of a movie now. There were other writers on Wonder Woman 84. I haven't seen it. Looked bad. I thought the first one was pretty cool. Late to the chat, but I enjoyed Cameron Monaghan's work and portrayal in the Jedi Fallen Order Survivor games. His skits with Mark Hamill to promote Survivor were the right kind of marketing. Yeah, I didn't play Survivor. I want to play it, but I love Fallen Order. I thought that one was great. Fahrenheit was fun. I think there was only one game I liked from David Cage. It's the David Bowie one. David Bowie one. Is that Omicron? Because I didn't play Omicron. I've played all the Cage games from Indigo Prophecy onward. I'm a little hyped for the Eclipse game, but it's going to be High Republic era, which is pretty bad. I think High Republic is fine. I think the era is fine. I think that the people working in the High Republic era don't know how to deal with not having Sith. And that's very clear. So, it would be so fucking easy. Fallen Jedi are still a thing. And that's the thing, is that writers, for some reason, it's because the people working on Star Wars don't really care about Star Wars, but Fallen Jedi can exist without them being called a Sith. It's so easy to have a Jedi turn to the dark side and not be called a Jedi. I mean, not be called a Sith. It's not the same thing. You could still have some interesting Fallen Jedi stories in the High Republic. You hear Until Dawn movie is going to go back to the stupid we know better than the games and improve on it. No Wendigos. It'll be a time loop until Dawn reaches. They don't learn. No, they won't ever learn. Disney is just interested in making Overwatch clones, it seems. Oh yeah, somebody asked about Star Wars Hunters. When will Evan play Star Wars Hunters? I don't think anybody wants that. And if it was on PC, I'd play it. But I'm not going to fucking stream it from my phone. 1313 needs to get made someday. It won't. It's not going to happen. Outlaws is as close as you're going to get. Outlaws is it. Thank you for keeping order, Wolfie. Yes. I was watching Pirate Software the other day. on live stream, and he said something that resonated. When I don't remember who it was who the people were that were arguing, because I want them to feel free to stick around, but whenever one or two people make the chat bad for other people, you're making it bad for the streamer, you're making it bad for yourself, and you're killing the conversation for other people. And no one okay, I'm done with Tatooine. No one wants to kill the conversation, so order has to be maintained. There's a place for culture war stuff. I promise there is. Nobody comes to a live stream about a video game for that. I mean, some people do, but the majority of people don't want to come for that. So maintaining order is crucial. So yeah, shout out to Wolfie and Festival, Spoosh Festival, for maintaining order. Is it in the High Republic era? That could be really bad in its own story, not connected to the wider story, can do its own thing. I think David Cage is going to understand how to do High Republic. It's probably going to be the best. It's either going to be a piece of shit or it's going to be the best High Republic thing we've gotten. Yeah, it was Omicron the Nomad, so Jason! It pains me to use moderation tools. I'd like to cultivate a more positive chat without him. Me too, but sometimes you have to. He added a kitty emote. Fuck yeah. Do you think we'll ever get a Battlefront 3? No. No, we won't. Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Have I heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? That's the one about the Sith who was so wise and so powerful that eventually the only thing he was worried about was losing his own power, which eventually, of course, he did. Sorry about all that, Evan. If I did get timed out, I would have accepted my punishment. I don't intend to ruin the fun. Dude, I don't think you or the other guy were. I think, look, if it wasn't the internet, what was his name? Patriotic Jedi. I think he may have left because he got timed out. If he's still here. I think if the two of you were in a room together, you would probably get along. I promise you, things get heated because on the internet, it's hard to have a conversation with nuance. That's just the way it is. Nobody wants to ruin anybody's fun. They just want to feel heard. And it's hard to hear other people on the internet because it feels like being heard means it feels like in order to hear someone else, you have to not be heard. And neither party in a conversation on the internet wants to not be heard. You can't have conversations like that on the internet. It's just pointless. He hid in a cave, spies on teen romance drama. Yeah, that's Darth Plagueis, all right. Wish I had a jetpack. How is this not setting him on fire, by the way? For real, there's a place and time for almost everything, but once it becomes hostile and not conducive to a positive environment overall, even in discourse, that timeout was a bit of a knee-jerk, I feel. Well, it's just because the conversation wasn't going anywhere, and I asked 2 or 3 times to just not have it. Not because it's bad or anything, but because it just wasn't going anywhere, you know? Whenever you have 2 people turning their wheels. Have you heard the tragedy of Darth Vader the Gullible? Dude literally thought a Sith Lord would teach him to save his wife. He fell for it. It's fair, reasonable mindset. I think visiting the chats more often going forward. Sure. I mean, I appreciate having you guys here. So whoever watched The Acolyte, was a guy actually a Sith? Did Ki-Adi-Mundi lie about the Phantom Menace? Yes. He was a Sith. Ki-Adi-Mundi lied. In Disney canon. None of that happened in the expanded universe. It happened before I even heard what you were saying, but I literally said nothing offensive. It's not about offensive. Nobody said anything offensive, brother. It wasn't timed. I'm not even the one who timed you out. Wolfie did, but it wasn't because offensive. It's just because chat wasn't going anywhere. There's only a 10-minute timeout, and I gave ample warning beforehand. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. It's fine. Agree to disagree. There you go. That's fine. Fett's pants are on fire retardant. My dad could get me fire retardant pants. It's the only way to go. All right, I gotta make it to that button. I like how I just left Tatooine and nobody said anything. I thought for sure chat was gonna make jokes about that. But yeah, I was watching that Pirate Software stream. There's just no reason to let chat spin their wheels whenever nothing is getting accomplished. Keep things focused. I promise Twitter wants you to argue about anything you want. And it's free. I am about to die. For the record, I saw no warning by him, but it's whatever. That's fine, man. It's not a big deal. It's a 10-minute timeout on a YouTuber chat. But it was there. Are those zombies? No, they're Bando Gora. The Bando Gora is essentially It's essentially a cult. It's a religious cult. In the EU, Ki-Adi-Mundi is married, and the Jedi are cool with it due to his species having a dwindling population, which is fair. I think that makes sense. If you have a population issue with your species, repopulation should absolutely be approved by the Jedi. I actually don't like. I would have trouble with the Jedi because I don't like the celibacy aspect of the Jedi. I don't like it. I don't like it in real life either. I think religions that encourage celibacy are a problem. Legit, I think Darth Bane is my favorite Sith of all time. I read his trilogy novels annually. Best Star Wars books of all time. People keep telling me it's so good. I need to read it. I need to quit wasting time and read the Darth Bane trilogy already. Flying around on that jetpack Shadows was fun until I ran out of gas. That was the problem. Still want to know what the fuck Yoda is? We'll never know. And if we do know, it'll be against George's wishes. Did you notice how this level is more bright? They took away the dark, mysterious creepy vibe on the open bits. Did they? It's been over a year since I played the original. It is easier to see, though. I'm excited for the upcoming Star Wars game, the Indiana Jones game. Oh, shit, I wasn't even seeing that. Looking forward to the James Bond. I'm looking forward to the James Bond game by Hitman, guys. That is my most excited thing. I'm really planning a James Bond game series, maybe next year. So I hear you. I fucking love James Bond. I own all of the Fleming books. I actually just finished reading Casino Royale earlier this year, and I'm currently going through Live and Let Die. Huge Bond fan. Majority of the Jedi views are too much. Well, they also the celibacy. Technically, the Jedi aren't advocating celibacy; they're just against attachment. Fair, yes, that's fine. Although it's very difficult to. It's basically impossible to be intimate with someone and not form an attachment. That's why it's called intimacy. That jetpack is fueled by the blood of orphan children and the bounties of his enemies. All the bounties of his enemies. New James Bond game? Oh, hell yeah. It's being developed by the Hitman developers. Who haven't seen that? It's about the issues with the Jedi. Tearing toddlers away from their families. That part kind of makes sense. At least in the EU. The thing about the Force was having Force sensitivity meant that at any given time they could realize how force powerful they are, and it could corrupt them, and they could start using it to hurt people, including their family. Taking a force sensitive child away from their family, in some cases, probably is helping the family. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Emperor in the Old Republic, Darth Tenebrous, I forget what his name was. That's what fucking happened. He was born as a child that was force sensitive that nobody found. He found out how force powerful he was. He used that force sensitivity. It corrupted him. He took over his village. He became a genocidal dictator, and he kept using it and getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Not good. You know, not good. The reason the Jedi exist is because they kept that from happening. So that part made sense to me. The Darth Bane trilogy starts over a game of Pazak. Now I gotta read it. Jedi never said he couldn't bang the Queen. It's true, and it's suggested that they knew that he was in a relationship with Padme. Would you play any of the old James Bond games or review 007 GoldenEye or My Favorite Agent Under Fire? Yeah, that's the ones I would do. I would do. I would start with GoldenEye and I would go from there. Did a Bond marathon with a friend of mine too. It was great. I have a crazy opinion, but I prefer Spectre over No Time to Die. Spectre was great until the final act. I also like Spectre, and I thought No Time to Die was bad. I didn't like that movie at all. I liked Spectre a lot. I also don't like Skyfall, which is apparently not a very popular take, but I didn't like Skyfall at all. Is Agent Under Fire and Nightfire on PS3? No. Those are PS2 only, I think. 007 games is news to me as well. Grew up playing the early games, and they were so good. Love them, dude. Love the 007 games. Cannot wait. Bond's definitely not into celibacy. Well, he's too far in the other direction. He's too far. I don't advocate that either. There's a reason most good mutants go to Professor X's school. Exactly. It's really for the benefit. It's for the betterment of both the person with the powers and their family, that they are removed and put into an environment that can cultivate that in a healthy way. Not a bad thing. Outbound Flight and Survivor's Quest does a decent job of exploring the idea of a Jedi taking force-sensitive children. Outbound Flight was Zahn's first Star Wars novel, right? It doesn't surprise me that he had a good take on it. No, Bond wasn't. I forget how to pronounce his name. Vishay? whatever it is. Yeah. Casino Royale is the GOAT. Great book. Good movie, too. Non-PS2 emulator for PS3. You should... How sweaty do you think Boba's helmet is? Impossibly sweaty. Impossibly. Unfathomably. You can get Agent Under Fire and Nightfire and emulate. They run great on both Dolphin. Yeah. Favorite Bond game has to be Everything or Nothing. Boston's true final movie. And Willem Dafoe's the Bond villain. Great. Fantastic game. I think I like Nightfire a little more, but Everything or Nothing is a classic. If I was a feared bounty hunter, my suit would definitely be air conditioned. Yeah. No, dude. If I was going to be a bounty hunter, I would embrace the discomfort. I would want to be uncomfortable at all times to keep me pissed off. I would watch the shit out of a long format Evan Prince James Bond game retrospective. Definitely should do that. Even streaming would be fun. Well, it's not a matter of if. It's a when. I want to cover all the Bond games. I'm preparing for it. Won't be this year, but I'm working on it, man. I want to get a bookshelf where I can display my Bond books and everything. License to Kill is a highly underrated 007 movie. Great. I'm a big fan of both the Dalton Bond movies, though License to Kill is probably a bit better. Outbound Flight and SQ were written post-prequel trilogy, so no, his first was Heir to the Empire. Okay, so that was his first. I didn't know when Outbound Flight came out, but I knew it was a Zahn novel. Where the fuck do I go? I forgot. I just beat this like last fucking night. I'm excited for Legacy of Goku 2 next week. I got my Tuesday cleared for it. I already made the thumbnail. I made the thumbnail for Legacy of Goku 2, and it's fire. Personal game, it's so iconic. Yeah, I love Nightfire. When? Hell yeah. It's going to be sometime next year. I'm excited for Legacy. Okay. They tied Defoe's villain next to the walk-in villain from View to a Kill. Defoe made a great Bond villain, but who is really surprised at that? Heir to the Empire and the other two were so fucking good. The Thrawn trilogy is classic. The Thrawn trilogy haunts Disney because they hear that title all the time, and everything they do is compared to it, and it's so funny. It is so funny. Do you guys understand that the phrase, the concept of the phrase the Thrawn trilogy probably makes Disney executives feel ill because they're so sick of hearing it when mentioned every time they do anything. It's so funny. Do you know how upset they probably are that one dude wrote a trilogy that in the 90s, no less. One dude wrote a book trilogy in the 90s that they will be compared to forever, and they hate it. I just got done reading all the EU books Zahn wrote, which kind of create their own little pocket continuity. Not just them, lots of other stuff references Zahn books. Living Daylights was cool too. Oh yeah, I love that movie. I'm still waiting for Half-Life Opposing Force remake. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Agent Under Fire was my first James Bond game. Absolutely love it. Spent countless hours on multiplayer. I replayed Agent Under Fire 2 or 3 years ago, and it sucks, but I hear what you're saying. It's really fun. Where do you stand on Doctor Who? Doctor what? I liked Doctor Who as a teenager. I think I outgrew it, though, because I kind of fucked with it. I think I went to a Doctor Who convention like once or twice, but at some point I realized I just didn't actually like it that much. I just thought some of the concepts were neat, and I think that's still where I am. The U makes the mouse big mad, particularly the Thrawn trilogy. Spent so many hours in Agent Under Fire playing with bots and low gravity turned on, claw gun swooping around levels like Spider-Man. Agent Under Fire is a definite classic. Dude, I speed ran this last night and I knew exactly where to go. What the fuck? Am I brain dead? I think I need to go further back. Dr. Slim Shady, that's the one. It's the same non of the Star Wars EU comics gravels and never got adapted to TV. It would have been way better if they had. The Disney era Thrawn novels, well, Zahn wrote those too, so it's no fucking wonder they're good. Half-Life Opposing Force remake Operation Black Mesa is still in development, even has a Steam page. Oh, I didn't know that that team was doing Opposing Force. I thought they did Black Mesa and were done. I would have been done after that. Dude, if I spent like 12 years? If I spent 12 years working on one mod, I would say, all right, I'm done. I would opt the fuck out and do something else after that. Yeah, it's really no wonder the Disney Thrawn books are actually pretty good because Zahn is just a really good writer. I swear, it's the most obvious thing because I remember how easy it was for me to find it last night. You may be brain dead, but we still love you, Evan. Well, I need it, man, because you see, I'm out here. I low IQ, very few brain cells. Does this door? What if this door just opened? It doesn't. The OG Bond game bot matches were so fun. I miss when games included bot multiplayer modes like that. Oh yeah, dude. Every time I see a bot multiplayer mode in a game I cover, I'm like, yes. I remember I covered Perfect Dark was one of the ones I covered most recently. When I saw it allowed bots, I was like, thank you. Thrawn Alliances is probably my favorite Disney novel. The Living Force by John Jackson Miller is also decent. Is that the most recent one they just did? What is the most interesting location in Star Wars and why is it Nar Shaddaa? Because it's edgy Coruscant, which is fair. It's fair. It's fair. It's a fair reason. Half-Life 3 win? No, never, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's not happening. Although if the Black Mesa team doesn't stop soon. I like how Rise of Skywalker ripped off Dark Empire from the 90s with clone Papa Sheev Palpatine coming back from the dead. Yeah, that's the funniest fucking part. I saw there's another YouTuber, I like his content. Young Junko. He made a tweet that was so accurate. He made a tweet that basically said that Disney Star Wars is so intent on ignoring and not using things from the EU and continuously takes the worst, most fan-hated parts of the EU and bringing them back. Like the new Jedi Order series, but with Rey. Clone Palpatine. And a number of other ideas that they bring back. Kenobi would have been a great show if they would have used the EU novel by Miller as a blueprint. 100% true. It's actually not that bad in the fan-made 2.5 hour cut. So that's the thing. The Kenobi series, not bad. And this is coming from someone who notoriously doesn't really like... Is that it? Do I just... Motherfucker. That was it the whole time. I'm someone who notoriously doesn't like Disney. The Kenobi series was only bad because it was too long, too fillery, and had like 1 or 2 mistakes. The fan-made 2.5 hour Kenobi movie kind of slaps. It's Terrace after being blown to hell by far. Yeah. We love a brain-dead king. You got him. I consider myself more of an airhead king, but the one EU comic I'd love to see brought into the Disney era is Crimson Empire trilogy. Not super familiar. I don't have much experience with the comics. I wish KOTOR 2 let me jump off the Nar Shaddaa platforms. It would have just been a text prompt. I mean, is it Nar Shaddaa or Nar Shaddaa? Both Luke and Kyle say it differently in the conversation. I remember seeing that in the Jedi Outcast. They both I think it's Kyle says Nar Shaddaa, and then Luke says Nar Shaddaa. It's Nar Shaddaa. It's 100% Nar Shaddaa. It's not Nar Shaddaa. That's just they got a weird because Kyle calls it Nar Shaddaa later. He calls it Nar Shaddaa once. I think they just used a bad take. Nar Shaddaa reminds me of a large version of what was once a real place. Kowloon Walled City? I don't know about that. They announced Palpatine coming back to life in a fucking fortnight. How do you preserve that scene for future generations? Just seemed he popped up out of nowhere as a clone. Disney doesn't give a shit, dude. I'm a staunch New Jedi Order defender. The old New Jedi Order or the new trilogy they're doing with Rey? Because the EU New Jedi Order is great. It's fantastic. Is Kenobi worth watching? There is a free 2.5 hour fan edit of the Kenobi series. Watch that instead. And it is worth watching for EU fans and for Disney fans. If you like Star Wars, the 2.5 hour Kenobi movie fan edit of the series, 2 thumbs up. Great. Do not watch the series. It's bloated and has a bunch of stupid things happen that didn't need to be there. But the movie is pretty good. Watch the 2.5 hour movie. It's actually some good Disney Star Wars content. Anybody read the Last Jedi series about Ferrus Olin taking on Empire after Order 66? Hell no, I didn't read that. I quit taking the Kenobi show seriously after that scene where Kenobi struggles to shut down a laser gate that he can literally walk around. That happens. I don't know how that made it. I mean, look. That's not even the stupidest thing. The one where Obi-Wan walks out of the Inquisitorium or Inquisitorius with Leia under his fucking cloak like a cartoon is the worst part. But the entire Fortress Inquisitorius section was awful. Where do you find the edit? Just Google fan-made fan edit. What Google Kenobi series fan edit? You should find it. It's got its own website. I'm pretty sure. I think it really does have its own website. You should find it on Google. I thought Luke said it right. Probably bad line read, but funny when they say it in almost the same sentence. But it also could be, if you want to force headcanon it could just be different dialects. Exar Kun is a bitch that got defeated by Padawans. That is a controversial take, but it's really funny all the same. The last Red Emperor's armored guards. That does sound kind of funny. Nar Shaddaa reminds me of what I think Space Vegas looks like. Hell no, it's not Space Vegas. It's way scummier than that. Although Vegas is pretty scummy. Where do I find the... Okay, I already answered that. Fan edits for the win. Always better for some reason. The EU series, almost all of the books are great outside of a few of them. Not really going to defend the Disney take on the new Jedi Order. Okay, fair. Good. I agree. Bad show, simple as. Good concepts, though. The movie saves it. Makes it worth watching. You know, ever since I heard Jennifer Hale say another twick instead of another trick in Jedi Academy, I can't get it out of my head. How did they let that stick? Okay, so I talked about this in my Jedi Academy video where I talk about Jennifer Hale's performance, and I think I even said in that video she's a great voice actress, but it's so obvious they did all of this with like no time. I think Jennifer Hale probably did half of her lines in one day, you know. So that's why. Probably a similar issue with Jedi Outcast. Heard that edit was good. It is. It's not Disney, The Last Jedi series. It's EU. Oh, that's the original Last Jedi series. Okay. Side note, thanks for your content on this game. I missed it growing up, and your videos are the reason I picked it up. Good time so far. Shout out, man. Thank you. That's what I want. I want more people to play Bounty Hunter. It's really fun. Good time so far. I hope you enjoy it, man. Kowloon Walled City was an absolutely fascinating city built layer on top of layer, self-contained with a population density of like 1,000 that of New York City. It was destroyed in the late 1990s. Oh well, dude, just give it another 20 years. That's pretty dystopian. Our billionaire dictators across the globe want that more than anything. Just give it another 20 years. We'll have like 10 of those on the globe. I promise. The edit does have its own site. Nice. Yeah, it's worth watching. That's some good Disney content. Crimson Empire comic, I remember those in Polish. It was called something I can't pronounce, Imperium. Would you rather be a stormtrooper under Vader's leadership, or would you rather be a stormtrooper on the front lines fighting Rebel scum? Probably Rebel scum. I mean, Vader was pretty lenient with the 501st in the EU. But I'd probably rather just be frontline stormtrooper. I've heard this game is pretty hard. Is it true even with the control updates? It's easier with control updates. It's definitely easier with the control updates, but it's once you figure it out, it's not hard, but it is a little bit of a get good kind of game. Like you have to kind of figure it out, and then it's not so bad. But it's pretty hard. It's harder than your average modern game. Like if you're only familiar with like modern games, you're gonna have a bad time. But it's not the worst I've ever played. Most of the Star Wars Disney shows have been unwatchable. That's why I don't watch them. Is it me, or don't you think they could have simply changed Django's blaster sound effect in this game? I mean, I have a mod in Battlefront 2 that does it. Seems like a simple thing, but I'm not. I think I said this in my retrospective. I think they probably didn't want to do that because I think a gnat flew in my mouth. I think that they didn't want to do that because they thought it might get annoying to constantly hear chung 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 all the time. Jennifer Hale had Jedi Academy and KOTOR coming out the same year. Only 2 months apart. Yeah, well, she probably did her lines for KOTOR way before Jedi Academy, though, because you got to keep in mind the development cycle for KOTOR was a lot longer than it was for Jedi Academy. They made Jedi Academy in 12 months. KOTOR had a multi-year development cycle. Same half the reason I got was because of your review. The other half was for having the old strategy guide. Well, I hope you guys enjoy it, man. Like, anybody who tells me that they picked something up because of content that I made, I'm always like, ugh, I hope you like it, man. I guess that depends on if you have... oh, come on. I saw that on Dark 5 channel. It was crazy. What's that referring to? Oh, yeah, the city. It's a sound file edit, so not that hard, but it's a remaster. They didn't want to change much, which I appreciate. I don't want them to change much, you know? That's probably not something I would have wanted them to change. It just didn't need to be changed. If you're doing a remaster, you have an obligation to keep it as much the same thing as it was. I get, Imagine going to shower after a long, hard day and catching Vader with his helmet off. You wouldn't. You would never catch Vader with his helmet off. He only took it off in that fucking chamber that he fucked around in. If you saw Vader with his helmet off, you were either a high-ranking officer or you were going to die. You plan on reviewing the Force Unleashed games? Absolutely, dude. Not for a while, because there's other... Dude, Star Wars content is probably just going to be littered throughout all my other content. It's going to be less frequent coming up, though. Like, I'm just going to tell you that now. In fact, I think that Bounty Hunter review that I released today is probably my last Star Wars game of the year. I'm trying to think if I'm doing any other Star Wars. I don't think so. Evan stopped reading my comment midway. Too spicy, I guess. Not too spicy. I didn't want to read. I don't always read everyone's comments all the way through, but I do read enough so you know I'm replying to you. I can't just sit around and read every word of every comment, you know. Jedi Knight 2 had come through. What would you had wanted for the story? Oh, Jedi Knight 3, what would you want the story to be about? The Yuuzhan Vong. Just so I could see the Yuuzhan Vong, like, in something other than a book or a comic. Absolutely, Yuuzhan Vong story. Like, Kyle Katarn was active during the Vong. Like, he was doing stuff. I want to know what. And I want to fight Yuuzhan Vong. That's what I would have wanted. Easy answer. You know, I think Ahsoka gets too much flack. Is it perfect? No. There's a lot of decent aspects to it. I think Ahsoka suffers from a lot of issues. I haven't seen it all the way through, but I've seen enough to know what it's going for. Thoughts on Skeleton Crew? Probably not for me. Jude Law is a cool choice, but like I can already tell what that show is going to be, and it doesn't look like something that I care about at all. Will I watch it? Probably not. Probably watch some clips. He's got to review Obi-Wan first. Dude, people keep asking me to review fucking Obi-Wan. I don't know what it is. Darth Vader has that inspires you to be all that you can be energy. Abso-fucking-lutely, dude. Darth Vader's helmet is fantastic. How do I get up there? Oh, I see. I need to go back this way. It's my favorite historical location. I'm so sad I never got to visit before it was destroyed. Hope someday it can be rebuilt in VR. Give it time. One of the best Star Wars mods is the TIE Fighter TC for X-Wing Alliance. Never played it. Vong War Game would have been so cool. Vong anything would have been cool. We're not going to get to see any Yuuzhan Vong now, which is it's so sad, dude. Because for a long time we could always hope that like the next entry would let us see the Yuuzhan Vong. And even though it never did, you know. Star Wars branded Guitar Hero. Play as a member of Jabba's band. Only if I get to play as a Bith. I just want to be the Bith. Obi-Wan is an Xbox exclusive Star Wars game. No, I'm familiar. I know. It's probably the second most requested game for me to review. The first being KOTOR. Maybe I'll just fucking do it, dude. Maybe I'll probably do it like probably early next year. I'm planning to do a Quake series. I'll probably just drop an Obi-Wan video amid that. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, though. I promise. It's going to be a while. Petition for Evan to stream has Station Simulator. I don't know what that is. Station Simulator? Obi-Wan the Xbox game? Yeah. It's my second most requested game to cover. If I remember correctly, someone ported this level to Thug Pro. I have no idea how they did that. Gas Station Simulator. I'm not going to fucking stream Gas Station Simulator. At this point, I think people are just asking me to review Star Wars Obi-Wan for the meme. Like, I'm sure it's good. And I am going to review it. Just have to figure out how and when. Here we go. The most we got is a reference from KOTOR 2. That's all we got for the Vong. Oh, yeah. A Canderous reference. That was it. How far ahead do you have your videos planned out? What's your plans for this year? The rest of the year. I have pretty much every video I'm going to make for the rest of the year. I've had my whole year mostly planned for the last 2 or 3 months. Let me see. I use an app called Nice Mind. It's pretty cool. This is what it looks like. That's all the videos I'm planning to do this year. Whether or not I'll pull it off, hard to say. Tenkaichi 3 for this month. I want to do Perfect Dark Zero this month as well. Next month, I want to do Infinite World Killzone 3 and then release a compilation video for Perfect Dark. And then I have an original horror game I'm going to cover, an old PS1 horror game for October. Killzone Shadowfall in November. And then a special series in December that I won't reveal yet. Very old school series. I'm not going to reveal that yet, though. That's going to be my December video. November and December. We can blame the Vong for blowing up Paragus too. Yep. Wait, I missed some comments. If you don't think the Cantina music slaps, you're objectively wrong. Fiagrin Dan and the modal nodes is a fucking bop. 100%. I want to play as a Salamiri in a Star Wars game. All you Force users can suck it. What are you going to do? Sit there and go, Ree! The Salamiri can't do that much, dude. What would that... Actually... You could probably have a pretty cool mobile app that lets you, like, Salamiri Simulator. Star Wars Salamiri Simulator. Disney, hit me up. I'll project lead Salamiri Simulator. I'll do it right now. Disney, you're sitting on money. No, fuck that. Pazak. Give me a Pazak app. What are we doing here? You could pick up Salamiri in the Jedi Knight games multiplayer. That was a real bummer. Yeah. Kill the fool with the Salamiri. There's another reference to... Zahn. I want a game that fleshes out background events from the movies. Like, give me a game where I'm a Bothan spy stealing intel on the second Death Star. Yeah, you want to be one of the many Bothans that dies. Have we ever seen a Bothan in Disney? Have we even seen a Bothan in Disney? They will probably screw them up too. No doubt. It was a brilliant game mode for control keep away. Oh, yeah. I can't believe that we haven't gotten more Salamiri since then. I want to see Evan play the Revenge of the Sith game. It was pretty fun and a decent Jedi vs. Sith fighter. Also one I'm really wanting to do. I can't wait to do that one. Anyone watch Death Battle? Their Kickstarter has been killing it. 72,000. They're well over 5. What are they kickstarting for? What is that for? What if the Ricotta had their own Star Wars game? Let someone put me in charge of a Pazak app, and I'll let you fight a Ricotta in Pazak. That's what I'll do. Put me in charge of a Pazak game, mobile game, and I'll let you fight all kinds of interesting alien races. It'll be cool. I'll let you fight a Bith, a Bothan, a Celestian. It'll be great. I'll give all of them fucking stupid names. Yuz and Vong were meant to be in the final season of the Clone War, but thank God they weren't added in the end. I think it was discussed when Star Wars was still not bought by Disney. Why thank God? I want to see a fucking Yuz and Vong. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? I think Yoda's going to go handle that. He has good relations with the Wookiees. They screwed over the Bothans in Rogue One. I thought they all died to get the Death Star plans. That's bait. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Definitely need a Carl game. You'll float and chill and stay winning. You just mod a game for that. Just find a game that just mod Carl's model into Jedi Starfighter. Or it'd probably have to be the original Starfighter. So the second one's not on PC. Death Battle has gone independent after Rooster Teeth closed down. Kickstarters for new episodes. Oh. Okay. Dave Filoni would screw Vong. Oh, absolutely. No doubt. But it'd still be cool to see them. Yeah, the Yuz and Vong, man, are very underutilized. Most people don't even know they exist because they didn't read the books. Oh, shit. Telling you, put me in charge of a Pazak game. You know Ryan from Ryan vs. Dorkman worked on... I don't know who that is. Worked on Revenge of the Sith game. You could see him behind the scenes when Hayden showed his fighting style. I'm not familiar with who that is. Sorry. I've never heard of Ryan from Ryan vs. Dorkman. 1v1 be like, you're Carl, so you win. No, you're Carl, so you win. It's who can give away the victory the fastest. I think Bothan Spy in Battlefront 2 2005 is the only actual appearance of said Bothans. You know, that's the first thing I thought of a minute ago when somebody talked about Bothans. Is that actually the only time we see a Bothan? Is that really it? Is Battlefront 2? The Vong would be turbo hippies and the good guys knowing him. Yeah. Carl could save the universe from using Vong. The closest we will get to the Vong, I think, will be the Grisk from Zahn's Disney books. Yeah, he probably was going to use the Vong. I bet you he said, let's use the Yuz and Vong. And Disney said, nope. It's one of those famous lightsaber fan films. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar. Random question, Evan. Did you at ever any point play RTSs like the old Command & Conquer games? I've been playing Red Alert 2 and Yurt's Revenge lately. Been a throwback from 2000s. So I didn't play those games, but my older brother was the strategy game guy. He fucking loved strategy games. Strategy games were his whole thing. RTSs were his mainstay. So I'm very familiar with a lot of RTSs, and it's because of him. It's because he was always playing some RTS. So anytime anyone asks me about, I don't play RTSs really. They're not my thing. Anytime anybody asks me about an RTS, I always say that I know about it. I've seen it played. I've heard it talked about. It's because my older brother is an RTS player. But no, I never played them personally. Dude, I'm standing on an object. This is bullshit. I'm on an object. Why is it still hurting me? Okay. Ryan RVD, I assume Ryan vs. Dorkman, was peak Star Wars fan films back when YouTube was brand new. I think they even predate YouTube by a few years. Really? Okay. I'll have to check it out. I can't believe I don't know what that is. Bothan showed up in the comics. That's where the design came from. Oh, okay. Like dog people. Ryan vs. Dorkman was one of the legendary fan-made lightsaber fights. It set a standard for many of those types of projects. A similar series was Ryan vs. Brandon. Highly recommend them. Okay, I'll have to check them out. Star Wars Empire at War was the best Star Wars RTS they made. Sadly, they didn't expand on it with a sequel, which included the prequels. No, but they did Forces of Corruption with Ty Berzon. My brother plays so much Empire at War, dude. He mods the hell out of it. Shout out to Galactic Battleground. Hang on. Old RTS games absolutely rock. Command & Conquer, StarCraft, the lesser-known Total Annihilation. Yeah, I don't know anything about them. Shout out to Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. That's another one my brother played a lot. He played a lot of Galactic Battlegrounds, which Kyle Katarn is in it. He played the Clone Wars camp or the Clone campaigns, which I actually mentioned. I mentioned Galactic Battlegrounds Clone campaigns in my recent GBA Star Wars video because one of the characters from that, her boyfriend, is in New Droid Army. There were real early Star Wars RTS games, but Empire at War is the only memorable one. I think you're thinking of Galactic Battlegrounds. Anyone ever play Thrawn's Revenge mod for Empire at War? Yeah, my brother, constantly. I lived with my brother up until this year. I moved in with my girlfriend and I got an apartment together this year. Thrawn's Revenge he played hours, hundreds of hours probably of that game. I always played Empire at War. I always played Empire in Empire at War so I could build my Super Star Destroyer and take over worlds, my Legion of Stormtroopers. I mean, they have the coolest aesthetic. I'd like to see a card game like Hearthstone or Gwent, but with a Star Wars scan. Fucking Pazak! I've been talking about Pazak. It's always coming up. I'm always bringing up Pazak. Oh, shit. I'm about to die. You want a Pazak app. And I don't know why Disney hasn't... What do you call it when somebody could make a lot of money and they're just choosing not to? What do you call it? Big fan of Thrawn's Revenge, but did it let you wreck Terrace? Yeah, you can blow up Terrace. Terrace is in... I don't know if it's in the... That might be in the mod Thrawn's Revenge, but Terrace is definitely a planet in Empire at War in some capacity because my brother has showed it to me. And I think you can bomb it. I don't know if it's in the base game or if it's in the mod, but Terrace is definitely there. What's the point of that if you can't stand on it? Evan's going to blow out my speed. Yeah. Dude, at this point, I should just do a game design document for a Pazak mobile app and just start fucking harassing Disney and be like, dude, I'll put together a team of 3 game developers. We will make this. We will put it on the Google Play Store and we will sell it. The game will be free and you can play it and then accumulate credits and buy card packs and stuff. Or you could you have to have a microtransaction store. They won't fund you. And you can have a microtransaction store that lets you buy the cards you want. And I don't know. We figure it out. But it could make fucking money. People would play it. I promise you people would play it. Couldn't tell you. Especially if you put a bunch of cool Star Wars stuff in there. If it was Star Wars stuff everywhere. You fought against different aliens. You could customize your own Pazak player. You could have different, like, it could be like 3D, and you could have like different environments where you were like playing Pazak. You can play on different planets. You could travel to different planets to like do different like battles. You could play against people online. Be fucking cool. See this level, Evan? This area is so lit up now. It used to be darker. I think the older, darker aesthetic looked better here. Yeah, but it was impossible to see, wouldn't it? I don't remember. You can always lower the brightness. Let's see if I can make it look more like he wants. Yeah, let's just lower the brightness. Also, let me make sure I have all of the things on. Yeah, it's all on extreme. Why? Who keeps turning motion blur on? It keeps auto turning on. I don't know why. I could totally code a Pazak card game, like, for real. Dude, maybe we'll just do it for free as a fan game. Maybe you, me, and like 2 or 3 other developers I know will just make a 3D fan game in Unreal of Pazak. I'll drop a whole game design document on everything. Trek versus Wars. Hang on. First off, shout out Robert Willing for the $2. Thank you so much, man. Trek versus Wars, for me, both have merits. I don't like Star Trek. True, but they added a flashlight. I think it could be useful here. Oh yeah, they did add a flashlight. I was noticing that before. It's really only useful in like 2 parts of the game. I'm not a big Star Trek guy. I've seen my brother likes Star Trek a lot. He loves Star Wars and Star Trek. He likes Star Trek quite a bit.
Trek versus Wars. For me, both have merits.
So I've seen a lot of the movies. I've seen the first one, the second one, the third one. I don't remember the fourth one. I've seen the fifth one once. No, the fourth one was Wales. I've seen the fourth one. Saw the fifth one once. Saw the sixth one a few times. Then I saw the new movies. I watched some of the Next Generation, some of the Next Generation movies, some of the original series. All of this was just because he liked it. I've seen a lot of Star Trek. I never liked it. Not my thing. Could never get into it. Definitely a Star Wars guy myself. When is Evan drinking blue milk for donos? I don't know, man. Any day now. Any day I'll get some blue milk. Y'all should do it. I'd support it. Fuck, dude. It's such a good idea. I'm afraid Disney doesn't really shut down fan games, so we probably could do it. It probably wouldn't be that hard. I mean, the way I'm talking about it would be a lot harder than it needed to be. You could just code it like KOTOR did it, but I would want to make it way more interesting. I would want it to be like those indie games you see where it's like a 3D environment, you like interact with it, and then you go down and you play the card game and you come back up. I would want it to be like that. I've only worked in writing, so I wouldn't be of much use in a Pazak game. Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. Game Maker is where I'm doing most of my learning right now, so you couldn't really make what I'm talking about in Game Maker. It would have to be like Unreal or Unity or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll pursue it, but it seemed that would be a pretty huge time investment for basically no money, which I'm not making enough money to spend any time or resources on that as of now. If I get to a point where I'm a big enough, YouTuber and I have expendable funds, I probably will start doing shit like that. Old Star Wars EU for me, but I did enjoy STTNG. Wait, what is that? Star Trek: The Next Generation. Also a weird shout out to the very final episode of Voyager for being incredibly awesome. Didn't care much for the show, but incredible final episode. Never saw anything of Voyager. Don't know anything about it. I saw the original. I saw a lot of the original series. Saw some of the Next Generation, and then I saw some of Star Trek Enterprise. I thought that one was okay, but I just don't like Star Trek. What's worse, Tatooine sand or Crate salt? It's a good question. I'm torn because Tatooine is objectively the worst thing, but Crate is in The Last Jedi, which is objectively the second worst Star Wars movie. So I don't know. I'm torn. Didn't Disney shut down the fan project port of KOTOR to the Unreal Engine? Did they? They don't normally shut down fan projects. That was probably because of the remake being done. But I don't know. I didn't even know that they had done that. They're a lot less stingy about it than someone like Nintendo. I'll say that. Nintendo won't even let you do anything. They won't let you get a single thing done. If they see you made a logo for a prospective fan project, it's over. Nintendo's coming after you, Disney is a little less ornery, I think. Didn't Disney shut down? Okay, I already read that. Is it hot on crate? I don't think Rian Johnson gave that much thought to it.
Looks like a dead end, Montross.
I don't think it's worth considering the lore implications of a film where the writer actively doesn't like lore.
Face to face.
You've come to the right place.
You first.
The hunt's nearly over.
The hunt's nearly over, apparently.
Boss is here, waiting for one of us to put her out of her misery. We'll almost be ashamed to kill her. Imagine, Django, the power to send thousands of mindless assassins.
Shout out to Clancy Brown for his Mandalorian interpretation here.
Not much money in Anakin.
Remember the KOTOR remake is unreal? I think they did get a cease letter. It's probably because of the remake. Think they sent out a C&D when they announced the remake by Aspire, only to cancel it. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's what happened. It was just because of the remake. Like Star Wars, Star Trek, and Battlestar Galactica. Never seen Battlestar Galactica. I've been meaning to watch it. I think The Last Jedi is worse than Rise of Skywalker. I watched The Rise of Skywalker in the same way as The Room. I wasn't referring to The Rise of Skywalker as being the worst. I think The Force Awakens is the worst one. And I have a whole thing about that. I always thought this planet was creepy. Still sort of is. Yeah, that's the point. It's really good, though. You can take it. You can at least take it as something funny in that case. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think The Force Awakens is the worst of the sequel trilogy. Galactica Reboot was fucking amazing. Try to watch the whole thing every few years. My brother liked it. I never watched that one, so I'm not super familiar. Bro, did you glitch yourself? Okay, I thought he glitched himself for a minute. George Lucas said in the making of Attack... Hang on. I died. George Lucas said it in the making of Attack of the Clones when coming up with this 3D design. Oh, he has green blood? That's cool. They fucking made a cutscene for this death? I like that. It's cool. I'm sure the plan to have a different director who have different ideas for each of the Star Wars sequels was a brilliant move, and I can only applaud Disney for this. Ha! Yeah. Well, they certainly stand by it, don't they? For better or for worse. I'm not really paying a ton of attention to this. I'm ready. You said it, Montross. We got Birder in the chat. Bro, what? Django, but I'm Boba Fett. Got owned so hard you got a special cutscene. I've never even seen that cutscene before. That's new. Because I beat him on first try the other times that I fought him. Force Awakens wasn't terrible. It was just a ton of nostalgia bait. Last Jedi was complete dog shit. Not exactly. After all, the director for episode 9 was kicked out and brought JJ back. Yeah. So let me. I'm done with this planet. We'll go find a different one. Let me talk. Let me talk about The Force Awakens for a second. The reason The Force Awakens is a worse film, in my opinion, this is subjective, is because it's boring. Hear me out on this. The Last Jedi is bad. It is really poorly written. It's too long. It's bloated. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's pointless. There's a lot of pointless nonsense in that movie. It sucks. It's a bad movie. But it's not boring. Same with The Rise of Skywalker. Bad. Terrible. Not boring. The Force Awakens is boring. It is a slog to watch. If I had to rewatch all three of those movies, I would choose the other two. If I was forced at gunpoint to watch the other two, I would choose the other two over The Force Awakens because it is so fucking boring. And on top of being boring, which Star Wars, like how did you make a boring Star Wars movie? On top of being boring, it established an immense amount of things that couldn't be undone, that were bad decisions. And it was a rehash of a better movie in a worse way. It's so fucking bad. It is the worst one, and it's filled with like whenever they find Han, the Millennium Falcon's there. They find Han. They have the whole sequence with the tentacly alien monsters. What is going on in this film? You know, it's a fucking pointless, boring slog. The other two movies are bad, but at least they're somewhat interesting, even if they're interesting for being bad. Force Awakens is fucking dull, dude. Force Awakens was too safe. Last Jedi was too decisive. Rise of Skywalker, I never finished it. You summed up the trilogy, brother. That was it. You summed it up. Yeah, beat him the first time. All those other times. We totally believe you. You don't have to put in parentheses just teasing. I can figure that out. I remember thinking on my first watch of The Force Awakens was meh, but I can understand why they felt they had to do some things. That view went down on a rewatch. Yeah. I remember I saw it in theaters. I was like, oh, that wasn't terrible. Rewatching it afterwards, I'm like, oh, this is terrible. And now that I've seen all three of them, I've seen 7, 8, and 9, going back and rewatching The Force Awakens, watching that final duel, the big climactic fight scene, I'm like, oh, God, this is boring. All right? It's so fucking dull. Oh, yeah, I gotta. Okay, fun fact. This, I don't know if you guys saw my Bounty Hunter review yet, but this character right here is the only other character outside of Star Wars Mysteries of the Sith. This is the only time Kappa the Hutt is ever mentioned again. Kappa the Hutt is a Hutt that's introduced in Mysteries of the Sith, who Mara Jade has to deal with when she infiltrates his palace. This right here is the only other existing mention of Kappa the Hutt. Just a fun fact. Anyways, Kappa wants his bounty. I'd rather eat glass than watch those movies. Yeah, me too. I don't think I ever watched episode 9. I watched 7 and 8 once and noped the fuck out. Fair. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I don't like any of the only people think that Rogue One is good. I don't like that one either. Who wants him? Haug Nerf Industries. You got it. To be fair, I quit Rise of Skywalker like right as the Palpatine fight started. I just couldn't deal with it anymore, so I only missed a few minutes in the credits. You didn't miss anything. You know what happened. You know what happened. Without even seeing it, you know what happened. You can guess. It's not like that movie. It's so funny. The Last Jedi was too like subversive and nonsensical. It was like, oh, you're wrong about everything all the time. No payoff here. Whereas The Rise of Skywalker was completely went too far the other direction. They all suck, dude. I don't want to rant about how bad Disney movies are. I'm trying not to do that so much anymore, but fuck me, dude. Force Awakens set up some interesting things. The Last Jedi set all that interesting stuff on fire. Rise of Skywalker did the best it could with the dumpster fire it still had to conclude. I don't agree that The Force Awakens set up interesting things. I don't. I used to think that was the case and that episode 8 ruined everything. There is nothing interesting that happens in The Force Awakens. Snoke is not interesting. He's not. I didn't see 8 until well after it came out. I'd heard several things, but surely it couldn't have been that bad. I paid $1 to see it, and it was $1 too much. Yeah. And I am all the Jedi. Fucking shoot me. Rian Johnson wrote that line, and he's proud of it. Rogue One is a generic war movie with a very thin Star Wars paint that overwrites both my boy Kyle. Yeah, and it's also pretty boring. Funny enough, I've actually heard that the original edit of Rogue One is better, and then it was cut down. The only part of Rise of Skywalker I like was Luke training with Leia. That's all I give it. Even that was kind of weird because they deep faked both characters. It didn't really look natural. Disney has a tendency to do this thing where they have moments in their films where there are awkward pauses that are meant for applause in the theater. They are meant to only be watched once in the theater and then never again. Never even noticed that. But you're so right. That absolutely happens. God, that's so fucking cringy. I can't watch Looper anymore because Rian Johnson ruined sci-fi for me. The only Rian Johnson movie I've actually seen other than The Last Jedi is that old film he did, Brick, which I actually thought was good. I don't know what I would think about it now because I haven't seen it in years. I haven't seen it since I was a teenager, but I thought it was fine back then. Oh, hang on, I got some comments. Last Jedi could have worked if Rey turned in the next movie, Luke and Leia redeeming her and Kylo.
Can you shoot random civilians in this?
Shout out to Wolfie Ragnarok for the $2. Let's find out. Well, he's not a random civilian. Hang on. Yes, you can. Was that my bounty? Oh, I think that was my bounty. Whoops. Remember when Leia flew through space like Superman? Remember? Ryan Johnson sure remembers because he thought that was so cool. Ryan Johnson did that and he was like, yeah, this is cool. I saw new Star Wars movies with my dad. Also, I think Ryan Johnson did not write I Am All the Jedi. I had no involvement with. That's not the line I was talking about, was it? I was talking about a different line. Or was that the line I was talking about? Yeah, you're right, because he wasn't involved in The Last Jedi. Yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. I haven't watched the sequels in years. I just avoid them now. Probably smart. I haven't seen them since they came out in theaters. I watched them one time in theaters, and then I watched Force Awakens and Last Jedi once or twice later. Civilian got owned. That was fantastic, yeah. I must be the outsider here. I don't support Disney, period. The stories aren't coming from George, and they undid the accomplishments and characters of the originals and lore. Star Wars ended when it sold. Yeah, but 95% of the expanded universe wasn't done by George. Doesn't really matter. That part isn't important to me. I like how Luke, Han died first, but their actors are still alive. Yeah, what the fuck? Knives Out is the only good Ryan Johnson movie. I didn't like that movie at all. I thought that movie was stupid. You mean Carrie Poppins? What's sad is that wasn't even the cringiest part of the movie. Okay, so here's something. I was thinking about this the other day. This is what I think is the most telling about the difference between George Lucas's Star Wars and Disney's Star Wars. This is probably one of the most telling things, so really listen to this. When George was writing The Phantom Menace, he wanted to write the capital planet. George saw that Timothy Zahn had already written a capital planet in his expanded universe called Coruscant. George had every right to ignore that and make up a different planet, but he didn't because he thought it was cool and he wanted to kind of combine and pull things from the expanded universe so that readers had a little something to chew on, because it would be exciting for people who read the books to see Coruscant in live action. When Disney had to come up with a hidden planet, a hidden dark side planet of the Sith, they did not look at the EU. They did not look at the fact that a very well-known planet called Dromund Kaas already existed. Fucking Korriban. They didn't look at the fact that Korriban existed. They didn't look at the fact that Dromund Kaas existed. They made something up called Exegol. George, who had full right, who made everything up, had more respect for the people who were contributing to his universe than fucking Disney, who didn't make it and are contributing to the universe. Probably the single biggest difference between the Lucas films and the Disney films is that mentality. That. I didn't watch Glass Onions because I didn't like Knives Out. Jar Jar Binks. Did we see a Gungan? I didn't see a Gungan. I feel so bad for the actor who played Akbar. Such a disgrace, especially with the story if they asked him today. It's a wrap. Why couldn't the fleet of Star Destroyers on Exegol just fly up? Oh, Star Destroyers, they couldn't move. The Star Destroyers couldn't move because Rey is all of the Jedi. No bounties here. I don't even think he was a bad guy. I just did that accidentally. Him to say. Looking for bounties. By the way, speaking of Coruscant, looks great on the remaster. Looks really good. Like this, they really didn't do anything to the graphics of this game. This is basically how it looked in 2002. So this is pretty fucking cool. To be fair, George's treatment of the EU was not consistent through the years. No, it wasn't. But it was enough. It was better than the way... And it's not about the expanded universe. It's about the fan base. Of course, George hadn't been treated so wrongly by his fans at that point with the prequel situation, which really that was mostly critics. It was more critics than fans. But Them running around on fire is hilarious. Classic bounty hunter. Aren't Star Destroyer's whole thing is to go up? Well, no, because on Exegol they couldn't move because Rey is all of the Jedi. Did you not get that part? So later in the film they explain why all of those things that happened in the previous 3 movies were happening, and it's because Rey is all of the Jedi. Anakin's unique situation of conception by the Force was just made irrelevant by the Space Witches and the Acolyte. Only in the Disney canon. Doesn't affect the EU because it's not set in the same universe. It's different. It's different canonicity. And I mean, do we really care how Anakin was conceived in the Disneyverse? I want a 2024 bounty hunter, man. I'll take any bounty hunter game, Wild West, or even that Prey 2 game. Dude, that Prey 2 game looks so good. That not coming out is a heinous travesty. Hub world based parkour mechanic sci-fi bounty hunter game. Could have been the coolest thing ever. I understand Disney killing Han in Force Awakens. Ford wanted George to kill him in Empire. Ford likely told Han he would only do it if they killed Han. Yeah, killing Han wasn't the problem. Probably, of all the problems with The Force Awakens, that's really not one of them, in my opinion. Not when Starkiller pulls them down with the Force. Hell yeah. When bounties are pre-planned, no randomization. Judge Dredd versus Death had a randomized arrest system, which reminded me of the bounty hunter system. Yeah, I knew these were pre-planned because it's always the same. It's always the same bounties in the same places. Makes speedrunning easier. There's a Star Wars and then there's Disney. They're 2 completely separate things no matter what anyone convinces themselves. Well, Disney won't argue that. I don't think anyone argues that. They're 2 totally different things. Prey 2 was badass. Love that OG trailer. Man, it would have been cool to get that game. I was so excited about that. Anakin is my son. The truth has been revealed. I do not apologize for the travesty he committed. Brave take. He murdered children, brother. Making our way through it. The vertical city. Actually, I think Nar Shaddaa is the vertical city, if I'm remembering correctly. Coruscant is not. Man, I haven't played a game on Nar Shaddaa in a while. Got to get my ass back to KOTOR so I can get to KOTOR 2 sooner. Yeah. How could you? Yeah. I would pluck George's. I'm not reading that. His outlines of the sequel trilogy. Man, he's probably behind 16 different legally binding contracts that keep him from talking about his sequels. But I bet you his outlines are probably not that good. I'm just going to tell you that. I think his outlines would have invalidated the expanded universe as well, so it wouldn't have really mattered. And I think they would have been out of date. And I just don't think that they would have been as good as a lot of people are thinking. The fact that Disney's movies aren't of a very high caliber of quality doesn't by default mean that Lucas's films would have been good. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. The younglings became one with the Force. Yeah, Yoda even said, mourn them do not, miss them do not. That's what Yoda said. He had to train himself to let go of that what he feared to lose. A little bit harder when you have to do it, isn't it, Yoda?
It's him, Django. Remember, if you fry this loser, you won't find out who he's working for.
Let me catch that bounty. Should have just turned the Thrawn trilogy into movies, full stop. That would have been too smart. That would have also given the fans what they wanted, and Disney hates Star Wars fans. I don't think people actually understand that. Disney resents people who like Star Wars. They do. I really believe that. I can't prove it, but I believe that. I think that the people who work at Disney think Star Wars is stupid and lame, and that people who like it are losers. Can we get Gareth Edwards to make another movie? Rogue One is objectively the only really good Star Wars movie Disney has ever made. I don't even agree with that. I think Rogue One sucks. I think Solo is better. I think Solo is a better Star Wars movie than Rogue One. Where do they go after the Rey Skywalker film? Another trilogy? Finn solo movie? Finn and Rose romantic comedy? How else can Disney spit on my interests? We're going to get a Rey Skywalker movie for sure. And Finn is going to be a Jedi. She's going to train. She's going to train Finn. That's going to be what it is. And the Finn and Rey romance is probably going to happen now that Kylo Ren is dead. I always wonder what parts of Nar Shaddaa were destroyed during Dark Empire 2 when the Star Destroyer was brought down on it. Funny how that comic references Nar Shaddaa when it was first appeared in Dark Forces. Was that really Nar Shaddaa's first appearance? I didn't know that. Seems like something I would have known. I fully agree. Had Lucas made the sequel trilogy, people would have had the same vitriol they did for the prequels. There didn't need to be a sequel trilogy. That's the thing. There doesn't need to be an episode 7. There can just be other films, subtitled. There should have never been an episode 7. Especially if you're going to include Skywalker, it should have been a non-main character like the games did in the other books. Some backstory on Yoda would have been cool, or Mace Windu to see how he became a second best saber. Oh yeah, more Mace Windu for sure. I would have loved additional Mace Windu. I don't want to know any more about Yoda personally. They say as much half the time, yeah. Solo is a better Star Wars movie. Rogue One is a better film in general. I think Rogue One sucks, but that's more subjective than anything. DF equals Dark Forces. Yeah, I knew that. According to Wikipedia, it first appeared in Dark Forces. I mean, that makes sense. I can't really think of an earlier appearance. I just never put that together, I guess. Finn and Rose romance, but they make it a musical instead of making it a comedy. Turns out so bad that it's your next Rocky Horror. This is your future. They're not going to do that. I don't think Finn will be back. John Boyega has openly bashed Disney for wasting his character. He will. I promise he will. Because Disney will say, look, we're going to take your Finn character. He's going to be basically the main character of these next movies with Rey, and he's going to be a Jedi. We're going to really deliver on that promise that we made. You're not going to believe it. It's going to be so good. We're going to really right our wrongs. And he's going to be like, I don't know. And they're going to say, also, we're going to pay you $15 million. And he's going to go, done. I promise, dude. Do you remember when Daniel Craig said Skyfall was going to be his last Bond movie and he couldn't do it again? You remember that? And then he was in 2 more Bond movies. You remember that? They're fucking actors. This is their work. If they say no, you just offer them another $1 million or $2 million. And also, if they tell him they're going to do what he wanted them to do in the first place, he'll say yes. Of course he will. I would be shocked if he's not in the new movie. I'd be shocked. Big yes, 1 through 6 complete story, not a complete universe. Yeah, I agree. I'd rather see Disney tackle anything in Old Republic timeline. I don't want that. Acolyte was only like 100 years for the Phantom Menace. Like, I just need them to go thousands of years away from the main timeline. I want them to stay the fuck away from the Old Republic. Have you read any of the Legacy comics? I've heard about them, but I haven't read them myself. There was no point in me picking up that power up. No, I haven't. Oh wait, I've read some panels. Never a full series. I was wrong. It was Dark Empire. I didn't think it was Dark Forces, but yeah, that makes more sense. Nobody has the willpower to turn down that Disney money. I think he would turn it down if they didn't promise him they were going to fix his character. But I think they're going to promise him they're going to fix his character, and he's going to have that excuse that he needs. Okay, that's fair. I would do a lot of things for $15 million. Yeah, most people would. It's not even a bad thing, man. Gib, large bag of money, does change people's minds real quick. Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know how many people in this chat have lived in poverty, right? I certainly have. I grew up on a fucking like small farm in the deep south. All right, I had nothing. My parents did very, very well by me, by the way. But poverty is just a very real thing that most people fucking face. The average salary in the United States, I think, is like $35,000 to $45,000 a year, which is very little. Most people don't understand more than they have, right? Most people would do a lot for $15 million. Legacy rules. Luke's great-great-grandson is jacked Lane Staley lookalike who does space heroin to keep Luke's ghost from annoying him. What's his name? I forget what his name is. It's something Skywalker. Kale Skywalker or something like that. I had one of those comics, actually. I had one of them, just one. I'd sell my soul for 15 million and massage Kathleen's Kennedy feet if need be. That's the thing, right? People will be like, oh, you're a sellout, you're this or that. But if you've ever actually lived in poverty, like, you start to understand that really fucking quick, all right? Cade, that's what it was Cade Skywalker. Been straight homeless before, I totally get it. Yeah. I don't even, when somebody tells me, oh yeah, I would do X for this amount of money, like, I get it. Okay, so Jedi Knight was set before Dark Empire. Jedi Outcast was set after. Yeah. There's a series of books that Jedi Outcast indirectly ties into. Oh yeah, I gotta capture him. Cade Skywalker, that's what it was. I'd like to think I would keep my integrity for 15 million, but life hits real hard. I think that there's some things most people wouldn't do for 15. Like, for instance, I don't think any reasonable person would, like, torture a homeless person for any amount of money. You know, that's not the same. Most people have integrity. I don't think anybody is gonna murder someone for 15, 20, 30 million. They're just not gonna do that. I don't think so. That's actual integrity. But most people will do minor things for money. That's what a job is, after all. Only thing is, John Boyega has already made a bunch of money being an actor. Him being offered 15 million isn't the same as you or I offer that kind of money. Something about people who make a lot of money is they can't have enough. The more you make, the more you want. That's just it. If you make $40,000 a year, it would take you 375 years of saving every penny to make 15 million. Literally just Googled. Yeah, scale is unfucking real. People do not actually, the average person doesn't actually understand the enormous disparity between 90% of the population and the top 10 who make millions of dollars. They don't understand. Because once the number gets to a certain part, which to a certain point, it all just becomes unfathomable to most people. They're like, oh yeah, 1 million, 10 million, whatever. It's all fuck you money to them. But what is John Boyega renowned for? Being Finn. Nobody cares about his other films. He's not pulling Mark Hamill and going voice acting. No, he would do it. Again, once you have a certain amount of money, most people can't have enough. They need more. They have to have it. But even then, I think he would do it just because he wants to be in Star Wars. Like the stream, you cowards. Appreciate you, Condemned Marine. I appreciate that. I've said this on a bunch of times on stream, but there's a streamer I watch, this won't surprise you, named Pirate Software, and he said something that resonated with me. He said if you've become a multimillionaire, I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the full quote. He said if you've become a multimillionaire, you failed as a person. And he makes a lot of fucking money. He has plenty of money, but he pays it all out to so many good things in every way he can. You know, he actively doesn't want to be a multimillionaire, and I so much fucking appreciate that. Like, you know, a lot of these actors are multimillionaires. Pretty much every one of our politicians is a multimillionaire. So I think they failed as people. Jedi Knight was 4 years before the Thrawn trilogy. I thought it was set after Thrawn. Dark Forces 2 is set after Thrawn. Is it really before Thrawn? I'm doing it in my head now. Fuck, it is. It is before Thrawn, isn't it? I just realized that. And that's saving the full 40,000. You need to pay bills and eat, so it's way less. You wouldn't make it. You can't make $1 million on $40,000 a year. It's not possible. Not in a human lifetime. Unless you're increasing that 40K to a lot more. So my company set record profits in the last 4 years. Last Friday, they fired nearly 50% of my coworkers, cut the rest of our pay by $3 an hour, and moved us to 60 hours a week to compensate. Fuck me, dude. Once you start making money, most people, it's like the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. It corrupts you. Money is a dangerous fucking thing. So if it takes 400 years roughly to make 15 million, how many do you think it would take to reach $1 billion? Just have to guess the number. Just guess the number. Dude, that's like several thousand years. That's like 100,000 years. That's another thing. People actually don't realize how big of a difference it is between 1 million and 1 billion. That is insanely huge. That is huge. If you're a billionaire, you have failed as a human being. Your company sucks, Wolfie. It's not just his company. That's most companies. People didn't understand the Dr. Disrespect thing, by the way. They're like, dude, you're a multimillionaire. You play video games for a living. Everybody loves you. You have a wife, kids, a family. We don't understand why you would do this. We don't understand why you would communicate with a minor in DMs like this. Let me tell you why. Because power, money and power, once you start getting it, you can't let it go. It's very corrupting. I understood it right away. I was like, oh, Dr. Disrespect has been corrupted into like a negative human being. Because once you have power, you want to do things that you aren't supposed to do to prove you can do them because you believe you are superior to the average person. That's what he believed. I think that's what it always is with most of these people. When you've made a certain amount of money and you see the difference in lifestyle, the difference in what the way that rich people live versus like normal people, not even impoverished people, just normal people, they genuinely think they're superior human beings. And they start to get really tempted to do abnormal things that you're not supposed to do to prove they're better. That's what I think. I think of that Dr. Evil quote, why have 1 billion when we can have 1 million? $1 million. Wait, that's it? Unironically, Dr. Evil was better than a lot of regular CEOs. When you can buy everything, the mind tends to turn towards what you shouldn't buy. Yeah, it does. I think even the ones who aren't fully like this kind of are in some degree. They just have some self-control. That's the problem. If you value your human soul, you do not want to be a multimillionaire. Like $1.5 million to your, like, in your net worth, availability, maybe not the worst thing, so that you can have it and be funneling into other things, have it as a safety net kind of deal if you're taking big risks. But if you've got more than like $1 or $2 million available to you at any given time, you're gonna be corrupted. That's like inviting demons into your home to stay the night with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for a new job. In 2 weeks, our schedule change goes into effect, and I won't be able to attend these streams anymore. I've been incredibly upset. Dude, that fucking sucks, Wolfie. I hate to hear that for you, man. I was laid off of my job last year. I think our company had, not our company anymore, but I think the company I was working for had a bad couple of months, and I was one of the newer ones. I'd only been working there for 2 years. Everybody else had been working there for a lot longer. I got cut, and that's when I went YouTube full time. And for the first 6 or 7 months, I was not making enough to live on. I'm barely making enough to live on now, dude. After I pay rent and groceries, I have nothing left. I have no spending money. And, you know, I'm not complaining. This is what I do for a living right now. I enjoy it. I'm blessed. I'm not trying to complain. I'm actually kind of okay with it. I don't need a lot to survive. I'm working hard. I'm enjoying what I do. But I'm just saying, I hear you. I feel what you're going through, man. I will pray that you get a better job. I will pray that you find somewhere that will treat you better. Get your resume on point. I'll say that. Apply to as many things as you can. A good resume makes literally all the difference. I would say it's probably even worth investing into one of those like websites that helps you build the ultimate resume. Super important. You're gonna want to like have your picture in there and everything. That's one of those pro tips. Like have your picture on your resume and all that. Well said on money power correlation. Yeah, it's observable. It is observable. Keep on the grind, son. Oh yeah, not stopping anytime soon. Sorry for dropping all that out there. Just figured you should all know why I won't be around. With any luck, I'll find another job and come back. I have a lot of technical skills at least. Well, probably don't donate any more money to me. I know you like to gift memberships. Much appreciated. But why don't you not do that anymore until you've found a better stable job in case something happens? And because you never know, dude. If they're cutting people, they could cut you at any time. And if that happens, it would be wise for you to have some money in the bank. I had to have some money in the bank whenever I got cut. It was very rough. Oh, almost didn't make that. So I don't want to see you donating or gifting any more memberships until you've told me that you have a better job. Save that money, put it somewhere for you to survive in case something happens. And then when you get a better job, a newer job, a better job, you can donate as much as you want. People are getting laid off everywhere, dude. And you'll see articles that it's about inflation and that the economy's not doing well. There is mass inflation and the economy isn't doing well. That is not why these people are getting laid off. I don't believe that for a second. Like he said, most of these companies are record profits. The inflation and the economy not doing super well is an excuse. These companies have been wanting to lay people off for a long time. They've been wanting to, and this is their excuse to do so and blame it on someone else. Have you guys seen the Bungie thing where the CEO of Bungie just spent like $2 million on sports cars just now, and they fired it was some absurd number of employees from Bungie. Now, granted, Bungie has made so many piss poor decisions that some people probably needed to be laid off, but I would bet you my fucking channel that the only people that needed to be laid off were like maximum 10 people, and they were all in positions of authority. They were like decision makers, and I bet you almost none of them got laid off. A bunch of staff who just did what they were told and executed on decisions that they probably knew were bad decisions got fired. That sucks. That sucks. It's not fine. And also, fuck that CEO. You laid off a bunch of people. You sent a message about how unfortunate it was. You spent $2 million on cars. Fuck you, dude. The money is fine. Even losing $3 an hour, I still do incredibly well. I'm just not happy about working 60 hours. Yeah, that's incredible, dude. That's rough. Okay, well, you know, if you're doing well, I can appreciate that. You know, I just want to make sure people are, you know, looking out for themselves, making sure people have empathy is a dangerous thing because people tend to think more about others than themselves. That ends up being self-destructive. So I always try to warn people against that. Being selfish isn't always a bad thing. You got to take care of yourself so you can take care of others. That's how it is. How else can we raise the bottom line for our shareholders? They're the most productive members of our company. Yeah, dude. Who else is going to spend $2 million on cars? Somebody has to bear that cross and spend $2 million on cars they'll never buy. They'll never drive. It's a tough job, man. It's a hard job, but thankfully we have some brave men and women out there who are willing to bear that and spend $2 million on cars they'll never drive. And yeah, Tricky, we are talking about Bungie. And the CEO did do that. Just about to bring up the Bungie thing. Oh, yeah. Just earlier I was talking about like money and like corruption and shit like that. When do you know? When you spend $2 million on cars and you lay off hundreds of employees, they don't have anywhere to work. They don't have a paycheck. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck on their rent. When do you know? Evan, do a fist-only run, combat dodges, blasters, and fisticuff the enemy? Sure, why not? After I either die out and start a new level or after I beat this, I'll do that. Sounds fun. Wow, looking over the Wikipedia timeline, not a lot happened in the years 12 ABY until 19 ABY. I mean, hell, 14 ABY, where Jedi Academy occurred, the only other media set that year was Crystal Star, which I talked about in my Jedi Knight video. I did like a whole like paragraph or two paragraphs about the Crystal Star because the events of the Crystal Star directly impact Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy. So it's worth looking into, even though a lot of people don't like that book. You had some other stuff happen, but yeah, it was mostly peaceful after the Empire fell. Hard out here being a CEO. Yeah, it's a tough job. I'm so glad he bought those cars. Really fixed the direction that Destiny 2 was going. Yeah. All the people who knew that Lightfall was a shit DLC, a shit pandering bad DLC, and worked on it anyway, just probably thought to themselves, we're going to fix it with the final shape. And then they tried their best. And the Disney CEO said, dude, I need more money. I can't afford to buy $2 million in cars that I won't drive. We got to fire people. The unfortunate thing about the Bungie situation is that a lot of former employees are airing their grievances online, which I'm sympathetic to, but it may be hard for them to find work with all of that, being out in public. I hadn't even thought about that, dude. That's hard. That's where these fucking companies, that's where these mega corporations have gotten people, though. Because shit like this needs to be talked about. It's the only way to hold these companies accountable. But doing so might make it harder for you to get hired, especially in game development, dude. That's hard. Like that's rough, dude. There are some indie studios out there, but The AAA, it's a hard consequence, but the AAA gaming industry needs to fail. There's no other way to see it, I guess. A galaxy needs a chance to breathe and relax sometimes. Yeah, which is what that was. You know, the Empire fell. Everybody chilled out for a while. What happened to the old days of sending? Can't say that. Can't say that. Well, I can't. I don't even think I can comment on that. Yeah, it'd be pure shame if we could only spend $1 million on cars this year. Not even this year. He did it like in one burst of like 1 month or something. Just what would the other CEOs say? Yeah, what would they wouldn't even take you seriously if you're not exploiting your employees. Dude, I'm not even like an anti-capitalist or anything. I'm not. I think capitalism has its pluses and benefits. I'm just anti-fucking evil. How about that? I'm just anti-fucking evil decisions, and that's what these people are. All right, let's try the fisticuffs playthrough. I'm going to start on the first thing so it's easier. Bro, I cannot show up to the board meeting with only 1 million in cars. What would those other board members think? Dude, I'm worried that someone at the multi-$100 a month club that I attend is going to find out that I only have a couple $1 million worth of cars. I have to increase it. I have to increase the amount of money I spend on cars. They're going to think I'm a joke. I own Bungie, damn it. I own one of the most profitable and well-known video game companies in existence. I'm the CEO. What are they going to think if I don't have millions of dollars in cars? In American Psycho, when they all busting out over their business cards, they really hit the nail on the head there. That movie's great, by the way, and that's why. It's a really great satire take on that. Zerka Corp would be proud. No kidding. It's exhausting hearing about what these rich CEOs do while their employees suffer. Try not to get black-pilled, friends. You can. I promise you can make it out. Don't get black-pilled. It's never hopeless. Late to the stream. How's the remaster? Shout out to Eric. Thank you for the $4.99. I really appreciate you.
Late to the stream. How's the remaster?
It's great, by the way. I have had pretty much nothing but positive things to say about it. There's a video out on it you can watch after the stream. It's pretty fun. I think people will enjoy it a lot. I am supporting it. Watch your videos for a short while and only just found your stream, and I'm glad I did. You and all in here are real as fuck. My Kenobi edit is calling me, though. Have a good night, y'all. Hope you show up to other streams. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you. At least some companies are doing good, as far as I know. Some companies are, but the companies are not what's... Bungie wasn't doing fucking terrible, by the way. They just had people in positions of leadership that were murdering the company. You had a mix of two things. One was CEOs being too greedy and not funding money back into the company that they're supposed to be running. And the other was bad decision makers putting out shit like Lightfall, which is damaging the game. I don't know if this thing can be killed this way or not, but I'm trying to do blasters only. I suspect one of the former CMs for Destiny was fired for their outspoken nature. That was like a year ago. They're still grinding that axe on X, but also talk about how they're still unemployed. It's a hard thing, man. American Psycho was such an incredible fucking movie. Yeah, it's pretty good. See you in the next stream. Yes. And there are other ways to bring attention to this kind of stuff. Speaking to journalists anonymously, even though gaming journalism is also in a bad spot. Yeah, what's a gaming journalist gonna fucking do? Put your article on Kotaku where everyone's gonna laugh at you? This is the problem when you make yourself into a silly industry like gaming journalism. Nobody will take you seriously whenever it's time to cover important topics. I'm glad I dropped $2.99 on horse armor only for Bethesda to lay off 100 employees. I should have bought more horse armor. Yeah, dude. I'm sure everybody who spent money on the final shape is super glad to see that their money went to $2 million in cars and not keeping the employees who actually made the fucking game on board. I'm sure the people who spent money on the final shape are really excited that the CEO spent $2 million on cars. Dude, I'm glad he did. Because now I can say shit like this and hopefully it'll bring attention to it. You know, and here's the thing. If he wanted to spend $2 million on cars and he had the money and everything was doing well, fine. That's not the problem. The problem is not that he spent $2 million on cars, which, I mean, that is its own problem in a different kind of way. The problem is that he did that after his company that he's CEO of laid off hundreds of employees. That's the problem. The problem is that if you're in charge of a company and you have all this expendable funds and your company is still failing, are you that incompetent? What is this thing's health at? I'm just gonna have to use blasters to get through this. I thought he would die. I sure hope if they fire that CEO for incompetence that they will at least give him a few $100 million. We can just fire more people to make up for it. Dude, he's never gonna get fired for that. That's common practice for It's gonna be the opposite. He's not only not going to get fired, he's going to be renowned as a hard-hitting CEO that's willing to make the hard decisions to save the company. That's what it's going to be. He's going to be seen as the CEO who did the hard thing and really saved the company. He made the hard call. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be the opposite of what you're saying. He's not going anywhere. If anything, he's going to get more opportunities. The Final Shape did worse financially than Lightfall, probably because the negative reception of Lightfall got. It's the first expansion I've skipped since It is. Final Shape did bad because Lightfall was a cringe fest. What is the Final Shape and which companies? The Final Shape is the latest Destiny 2 DLC from Bungie. Can we talk about how 343 was invented to do one thing, make Halo games, and basically failed on all fronts? 343 was invented to make Halo games, and they made bad Halo games for a while, and then they've since decided they're not going to make Halo games anymore. They're just going to be an overseeing firm. That's real, by the way. That actually is what they're going to do. They're not going to make Halo games anymore. They're literally going to oversee them. Final Shape is... Yeah, it's that. Bobby Kotick got $400 million to be ousted by Activision after the Xbox merger, despite all the horrific work abuse the employees endured. Can't talk right now. The world is very not fair, and that is an unfortunate reality. The world isn't fair, and the only way it can be fair is when certain types of people fall on a lot of swords and take a lot of losses to force it to be fair. It's the only way it happens. He left in a helicopter with billions in his pocket. Yeah. The industry rewards this behavior. It rewards it. It loves it. It applauds it. It wants it. That's all it is. It's been a while since this, but John Riccatello, the original CEO of EA, oversaw the 2 Worst Company in America awards and got a golden parachute when he became the Unity CEO. Yeah. Books, not boom. Corporate world is completely different than ours. It's bad, dude. When you have a bunch of people who have a bunch of fucking money, if you want to get a spoiler alert, a sneak peek into what hell is gonna look like, sneak into a rich country club full of CEOs. Bantam for me. I was reading those books when they came out of release. Those were great times. Novels are one of the reasons novels are always end up being so much more appreciated than other products is because they're typically one author gets paid a respectable amount of money, $25,000, $35,000. If the author is good, maybe upwards of $75K for a good book, which is so appropriate. That's so okay. And then they're not compromised. The Bungie we have today is Bungie in name only. The people who made Bungie Halo, Magical in the first place have moved on. Yeah, and they all hate each other too. All the original Bungie devs fucking hate each other. Which is probably the saddest part. They couldn't come together to make a game now if they wanted to. I said I was going to do fists only, and here I am shooting everybody. God, is it already almost 10 o'clock? I'm going to have to wrap up and go get some food soon. I'm getting hungry, man. What is your preferred era, Evan? Bentham or Del Rey? I don't think it actually matters as much as you might think. The cool thing about book publishers is that it's all the author. I mean, I think modern publishers are selecting worse authors than previously, but it's because not as many people are reading the same kind of books. So that's just the fact of the matter. Fists actually seem doable in this game. There's some parts you probably couldn't do with fists, but Boba Fett has Fist of Steel. Oh yeah, definitely. Never played Halo myself. That'd be a new experience to me. Well, if you want to, I've got a retrospective on the first and second game. You can go watch my Halo 1 and 2 retrospectives, and you can basically play the game for yourself. See, like this, you can't do this with Fist. You actually have to blaster it. Karen Travis was the worst rider. She had huge two-edged ego. She was actually, she was who I was thinking of. Her and a couple others. Karen Travis is part of who I was thinking of when I was saying that. She's written for Halo, I believe, and she's written for Star Wars. And I've read some of her work, and I think it's really mediocre. Like, I've read way worse. She's not terrible, but I think she has some odd decision-making. Start with Halo Infinite first. You won't be disappointed then. Halo 5 is worse than Infinite. I think Infinite's fun. Infinite has a lot of fun parts to it. I think most people would probably enjoy Infinite more than 5 or 4, I think. Give me these guns on the wall. Now he actually looks like real Boba Fett for once. Look at that. Boba Fett with his actual rifle. That looks good. It's a good look. Travis and Denning are good authors. I guess I know what I'm watching tomorrow. Yeah, plenty of retrospectives on the channel, man, if you're interested. When are we getting the 4, 5, and Infinite retrospective? I have to do 3 first, and then I have to do Reach and ODST, and also not anytime soon. I'm off Halo for a while. I got too many other things I want to do. The Halo 2 retrospective was very hard for me to do for a number of reasons that have made me step away from the series for a minute and say I'm going to do some other stuff. Upcoming, you can look forward to more Dragon Ball Z until I'm done with the PS2 titles anyway, so I got 2 more to go. And then I'm doing Killzone. I'm finishing the Killzone games, and I'm finishing Perfect Dark. That's what you can look forward to in the near future. 3 will come eventually. Maybe. Oh, wait. Fisticuffs. Halo 5 had best multiplayer. The campaign sucks. Infinite has best campaign of 343 games. Yeah, it's not a fully real. I think Infinite has better multiplayer than 5. I think Infinite has one of the best feeling Halo multiplayers of all time. I really don't understand it when people say Infinite doesn't have good multiplayer. It has one of the best I've ever played. I liked Infinite more than 5. Travis thought she owned the Mandalorian people and had final say on their culture. She hated how people ignored her set number of how many clones were made. The problem with that is that she just made a worse Mandalorian culture than KOTOR. I'm filled with lust for that Tenkaichi 3 video. I need it. I'm working on it, man. I was working on the script last night. It's going to feature 2 other YouTubers. It's going to be good. Make sure you at least touch on ODST being an allegory for the Divine Comedy. It was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, ODST had some good writing, for sure. Honestly, I just missed that mysterious feeling I got from the first Halo game. I wish I could have tapped into more of that with Infinite. I don't think modern games can tap into that. That's very much a product of that era of gaming. There's a lot of old early 2000s shooters that you can look at. Droids Wanted. There's a lot of old early 2000s shooters that have that feeling. Look at Athorian. Felt like I was back playing old Halo. 4 and 5 never hit for me. I like the 4th game, but I like the 4th game for what it did different, you know. I didn't really like anything about 5. Its multiplayer was fine. It was a compelling multiplayer, but I didn't like 5 very much in any aspect. I actually like 4 okay. If I made a retrospect of it, I'd probably catch some heat because I'd probably have more positive things to say about it than most people. I like that they gave Chief an arc. I thought Cortana was done interesting, but they actually hired an author for that one, so that'd probably be why. Fisticuffs kind of works. It's really kind of doable. I highly recommend watching the commentary tracks for the original Halo games. They're easily found on YouTube. Yeah, I've seen them all more than once. I watched them a long time ago because they came on the bonus disc for the Halo 3 Legendary Edition. So that was the first time I watched them. I watched them on my 360 when I was a kid. And then I think 2 years ago, I pulled them up on YouTube and I rewatched them again. Yeah, very informative. I like those a lot. It's fun hearing them talk about all the content that didn't get realized. I also get that feeling from the first Unreal game too. Yeah, see, it's that era. It's the era of games that was doing that, not so much the game itself. Something about that art style, the engine, the way things looked, Unreal definitely pulled that off. I think Tribes Vengeance, which was the only story-based Tribes game I think they ever put out, had something similar to it. No Halo content is as bad as the Paramount series. That's just facts. That got canceled after 2 fucking seasons, and I can't believe they got a second season. Halo 5 Super Fiesta game mode is still fun, and I will defend it. Warzone is also... Warzone's pretty good. I think Warzone's alright. Yeah, the show was rough. Can't say enough good about the writing of ODST. As a spin-off, it wasn't quite as popular as others, but brilliant writing. Also, Nathan Fillion and Trisha Helfer do voices. Nathan Fillion was back in ODST, and he was in Reach. I mean, he was back in 5, and he was in Reach too, briefly. This game always had that mysterious vibe for me as a kid. Bounty Hunter, I mean. Definitely near the later levels, for sure. Malastare and... whatever that moon is named on, that Bogdan moon, whatever that is, had that feeling. Just a great game in general. I've played so much fucking Bounty Hunter in the last 3 days, dude. Because I basically beat it twice for the video, and now I've been playing it on live stream, so. I think it's getting close time to wrap it up. I'm getting hungry, fellas. And I also have to do podcast tomorrow night. Let me get to the last cutscene on this, and then we'll call it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play to the cutscene, and then I'll call it and go get some food. And you guys can I'll probably make some egg noodles. You guys can leave your last questions or comments. It's not how you're supposed to do that, by the way. Have you ever boiled your water with friction? No, I can't say I have. Sounds interesting. I wonder what that would be like. Guess it's technically doable. Friction is heat. You'd think with that much playtime you'd actually be good at this game. You would think, dude. You would think. But somehow I managed to put in all the time without getting any of the effort. Any of the results, I mean. Which, it's kind of an impressive skill in its own right, isn't it? Here we go. This is the cutscene. Been interested in checking out the Riddick media? Do you mean Riddick? Because, yeah, Riddick is fucking great. The movies are okay, but the 2 games are baller. Play the games, watch the 3rd movie, then watch the other stuff. That's my recommendation. 2 games, 3rd movie, everything else. Combat roll is undefeated. Great combat roll in this game. What a scumbag. Bro, you could CEO with skills like that? Dude, I'm not that incompetent. Come on. I'm not that incompetent. Dude, Boba in these cutscenes looks so right, doesn't he? Boba in these cutscenes just looks right. Alright, fellas. I think that is a wrap. Oh, man. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate it. I know a lot of it was ranting about a bunch of nonsense, but I appreciate indulging me for that. It was fun times. Why did you bounty off the Twi'lek who was enslaved into a pleasurable business? Because that's, I don't know, ask Jango Fett, dude. He's the bounty hunter. I didn't do it. Jango did it. The Riddick games are incredible. I thought they'd be shit because movie tie-ins, but I was so wrong. No, dude, Riddick games are so good. It's probably some of the most underrated video games of all time. Thank you for the stream, brother. No, thank you for tuning in. I try to live stream every Tuesday and every Thursday. Tuesdays have been DBZ. Thursdays have been Star Wars. That's how it's been going. Sometimes I stream on Sunday and other days. So I hope I'll see you in future streams. And I also stream on Fridays, but that's a podcast on my co-host channel. Ready for Legacy of Goku 2? Oh, yeah. I should show off the thumbnail for that. Hold on. I'll pull up the thumbnail so you guys can see it. Hell yeah, look at that. I think that's one of the better thumbnails I've made for a live stream, actually. So you can look forward to that on Tuesday. That's when I'm planning to start it. Blank is the Dark Souls of blank every time. Might need to get a new speaker after Evan's rants. Yeah, well, if your speakers can't handle my rants, you need better speakers. That's just how it is. I don't make the rules. Yeah, Legacy of Goku 2 time. True facts. Legacy of Goku 2 starting on Tuesday. All right, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope I will see you on Tuesday. If you haven't already, I just released my new video on Bounty Hunter. You should go check it out. Leave a comment, leave a like, help me get caught by that algo. Next video should be Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Working hard on it. I'll be working on it all weekend probably. And then Perfect Dark Zero, which is way fucking better than people have been telling me. All right? Way better. I don't know what the hate is for that game, but I'll talk about that in its own video. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you when I see you.